O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
You know, I tell you guys all the time about Cutter's Edge Pro, man, and what they did with our backyard and made it a pure oasis. That's our Sylvester tree right there. A beautiful day, providing a ton of sunshine. We've got one exactly like this out in the front yard, and it is absolutely gorgeous. There's Bono hanging around on the artificial turf. What's up, Bono? What's the word, baby? There you go, wagging that little tail. Maiden, there she is. Ziggy. How you doing, Ziggy? There you go. So we got the doggies hanging out. So just want to give you a little, we got some of the trees starting off from this way with the artificial turf. You see, there's Ziggy again, of course. Got it all the way. And look, we got some flowers coming out. That tree now will start to also spring, and it's absolutely beautiful too. So got all that, they can do all kinds of things for you in your backyard to kind of make it an oasis, which is what we've done. And obviously the dogs can play. What's up, Bono? I got him there hanging out. Maiden. There she is. There she is. The one and only. She's mean as a skunk, by the way. Just want you to know. She's awesome with us, but I mean, if you're a stranger, you don't want to meet mated. So as you can see, and then the artificial turf, remember, there's no watering. There's no cutting the grass. It looks fabulous like this the entire time. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Back here in this corner is where we put the barbecue. I wheel it out, cook, then I wheel it back in. See, looks beautiful, doesn't it? Flowers are coming out. It's awesome. And then when I want to play a little golf, there's my putting green down the side, which is a beautiful thing. There's one of the holes all the way to the other side where Bono is at. All lights up. It's really beautiful when it lights up. See, we got the rough. Got several. Got one on that side. Got one over there in the corner where Bono's leaving. Got rough all over the place, man. Just in case, you get the ball trapped in there. That's it. That's another swing. Right, Maiden? So, check it out, cuttersedgepro.com. Make your home an oasis. Make your business, your HOA complex, condominium, you name it, they got you, bro. They do it all. All right? Then cut your trees down, and the artificial turf, I swear by it. Really easy to maintain, and it looks just absolutely freaking beautiful. Cutter's Edge Pro. Right, Ziggy?
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane, Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning, boys and girls. Yes, sir. Welcome aboard to the show. Thank you all for tuning in. Give me a heads up because we are riding solo. Hopefully we'll, I think they're releasing Sean today from the hospital. So just to make sure that the audio is going well, because I don't have my executive producer on the other side, making sure that it's all good in the hood. So give me the thumbs up to make sure before I start really getting into anything crazy. So I want to make sure, because I know we got a bunch of people on the chat board already, so you guys can tell me if everything is good. I think Kyle Cockrell is giving me the thumbs up sound, and so is John Santos. So there we go. There we go. There we go. And yes, Stephen, it is awesome news with Sean. We definitely need him back for sure. We are incomplete without him. Obviously, it is not the normal show without Sean. So hopefully we will get him back. And you've noticed that like there were no best ofs over the weekend. Less videos are being posted, all that kind of stuff. So, he is sidelined right now. So even content is not being kind of, taken care of at the moment right now on the site. So audio-wise, you can get all this stuff, but video-wise, it's only the complete show. It's not being sliced up. So what can we tell you? Hopefully, when we get Sean back, let's get him back healthy, which is what we need. So hopefully everything will go well today, and hopefully he will be excused from the hospital. Rock Bear, thank you, checking in from the UK. Very, very cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. John Padilla says, listening to Big O on a nice, rainy, cold day in the Bay Area. Wow. Okay. All right. You've had enough rain over there, man. Jesus. We got to calm down on the rain now for the West Coast, bro. They've had enough rain. Their reservoirs are like overflowing now, and we got floods now and all that. So we got to watch out. I feel bad for the people all along the Mississippi too. With all the flooding going on too, man. It's tough. So always love when you guys are putting where you're at, enjoying the show. So thank you. And remember to smash the hell out of the like button, whether you're listening day, night, weekends, holidays, you're listening to a rant, whatever it is, you're on iTunes or Spotify, hit that like button, all that stuff on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button, because that gets the algorithms going. It gets the show out to more people. So the more you guys hit the like button, the more you will help the show grow, is actually what you're doing by hitting that like button. All right. I like it. Eric Scott says, let's go, Big O. South Florida sports are pretty exciting again. Yes. Right now, our winter teams, which they didn't look very sexy, they have given us some life, right? And it's a lot of fun. So tonight, the part that sucks, I would love to have like the Heat only play tonight and then the Panthers play tomorrow night, or vice versa. I don't care. But damn it, dude. Now we got the Panthers at 7:08 and then the Heat at 7:30. So for 22 minutes, you'll get to watch about, I don't know, half of the period. without having to then worry about the Heat game too at the same time. So 2 TVs and your head's on a swivel tonight, watching both TVs. I'm sure great, go to a bar, right? You can go to a sports grill or walk-ons or something, and you can check out multiple TVs because I'm sure they'll have both games on in the bars all across South Florida, man. So Heat, by the way, we don't know anything about Butler. It's the Miami Heat. They don't let out any information, but he's questionable with that ankle injury. By the way, Jalen Brunson, also questionable. He's got a right ankle injury. And Julius Randle hasn't played yet. He hasn't played in a few weeks. And he's got that high ankle sprain on the left ankle. So we'll see what happens with that. But Knicks are favored by 6.5. Isn't it weird that, like, during the regular season, they were overvaluing the Heat, and we were cashing in big time going against it, right? And then now they're undervaluing the Heat because the opponents giving up way too many points. It's kind of weird. Although here with 6.5, they're kind of thinking that Jimmy isn't playing. I would imagine that's why it's 6.5. Although, wasn't it like 5.5 in game one? Let me see. I know I have the notes somewhere. I thought it was like 4.5 or 5.5 Knicks in the first game. Maybe I didn't write it down. I thought I did. Let me see. Yeah, it is 4.5. Game one, 4.5 over and under was 206. Okay. So yeah. They did they hit the over, by the way? Yeah, they did also 209. So they even hit the over. But yeah, it was Knicks 4.5 in that game. I knew I figured it was something like that. And again, they overvalued, the Heat. They undervalued the Heat in that one, and they ended up losing. And so now I see 6.5. Although without Jimmy, maybe that's a little bit more realistic, I guess, if we want to look at it that way. Anyway, the over and under is 206.5. Heat are plus 230 on the money line, and the Knicks are minus 275 on the money line. So Vegas is feeling mighty confident that the Knicks are going to even up the series tonight and make it 1-1. Although if Butler doesn't play and some kind of crazy ass, I know this is James Harden, so it's different. They don't have anybody like James Harden on this team when Jimmy's not there. So I get it. It's really hard to have somebody score 45 points like last night. But if somehow or another they get like some crazy ass performances from people and they go up 2-0, that would be without Jimmy, that would be as demoralizing as it gets. But I would imagine that the Knicks are going to play pretty damn desperate today because they can't go down 0-2. And we'll see. I normally think that they would play through this kind of stuff because that's kind of the way this organization is, right? Balls to the wall. But I'm getting that feeling like they're gonna sit Jimmy for this one. I just kind of, I don't know why, but because he did rest a quarter of the season this year, right? He missed a lot of games this year, and I'm sure some of those games he wasn't right, but he probably could have fought through it if he really wanted to. But they took the precautionary approach, which, with Jimmy's wear and tear and all that, that's a smart thing to do. And in this sense, if you're already up 1-0, you already have home court, and all you can really do is aggravate that foot. And you're not going to get any better this way by playing on it, right? But you can get better if you're resting for nearly a week. And if you're going to get almost a week's rest, then you know what? You're going to be a lot better for game 3 than you are even for game 2. And especially with their kind of treatment, because their treatment's a lot different than your treatment and mine. They got the best gadgets. They got more things to help alleviate and bring the swelling down and all that kind of stuff, right? That, the kind of stuff that you and I don't have. Plus, you'll have somebody physically attending that foot all the time, So they've got like the around-the-clock doctors and that kind of stuff, or nurse, whatever it is that they use for something like that. We don't have those kind of luxuries, right? So you give him a week and you got a chance of really bringing that swelling down, and he'll be a much better player. You know what I'm saying? Either way, the amount of pressure that's on New York tonight is as enormous as it gets. So that's also in the favor of the Miami Heat. Okay. So we'll see what happens. What do you guys think out there? Do you think Jimmy Butler plays or he rests tonight? What's your gut telling you? My gut's telling me that this is a different time and a different organization now. I think they're going to rest him. I think they're going to rest him for game 3, but you know, it's hard to get a read on this, and definitely Jimmy Butler's not one of those guys that you underestimate. What do you guys think out there? Does he play or rest? Play or rest? Those are the answers right there on the chat board. Plays or rest? Which one? Miami Cruz, thank you for the love on the super chat. Appreciate it, sir. Says Toronto Maple Leafs fans are pretty obnoxious. Are they? I have no idea. I would not know. You know what? Oh, and we don't have Poupart on today. That was yesterday. We could have asked the Canadian if that's true or not. I have no idea. I can't say Toronto fans. I can tell you Jets fans are obnoxious. Okay? They have nothing to be obnoxious about, but they are obnoxious. Knicks fans, they have nothing to be obnoxious about, but they are. Boston fans can be obnoxious. Gators fans can be obnoxious. fans can be obnoxious. Yeah. There's some fans that can be obnoxious. Yeah. But I don't know about Toronto. That one I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know what hockey fan base is obnoxious. That one I'd love to tell you, but I'm not smart enough on that one. I don't know the culture enough to tell you which one is. Anyway, Alexis says going to a local bar in Cutler Bay. Okay, there you go. Nice. Good morning, Big O opinion. If Jimmy is 70%, do you play him or rest him for game 3? I think you rest him, man. I think you rest him. I think resting him is actually the smart move. And get him healthier for game 3. You already stole game 1. Why not? What the hell? You know what I'm saying? NorCal is in the house. He's saying, good morning, Big O. Any update on Sean, or did I miss it? Rooting for you, Sean. Puff, puff, give. Sean hopefully will be released today from the hospital. We're hoping. We're crossing our fingers. Let me see. Kyle Cockrell was number 1 on the chat board. Steve Chapman was second. Brian Walters in. Let's see. John Padilla to Extreme. Jose Banos, Nyborg. Hopefully our Heat can do the same thing the 76ers did to the Celtics and win without their superstar playing. Yeah, but they had another star play. We don't have that. That's the only problem with that. That the star is out and then there's no other star. And that's the thing. The Sixers still had a star left in James Harden. And by the way, Maxey, who didn't shoot well, like 10 of 24 or something. Yeah, 10 of 24. He scored 26 points. 26 points on 24 shots is not really that good. But James Harden was good yesterday. That one, you got to give him props. He scored 45 points yesterday. That was crazy. That was crazy. Lisa Rose in, Mitchell, Isais, Jethro, Breezy. Thank you all out there, man. As always, GP Trap. Giovanni, hoping Sean gets better. And thanks to all the love out there for Sean, man. Well deserved. I was telling Sean yesterday that he got a lot of love from you all yesterday, which is great. And remember, you can also make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Big O, as a Leafs fan, I try to stay impartial. I'm not obnoxious by any means. But is it true? I have no idea. But Brett, you didn't answer the question since you're a Leafs fan. Is that true what he said, that the Maple Leafs fans are obnoxious? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't even know if there's an obnoxious hockey fan base, because usually hockey players are really good people. And I don't know. I just kind of feel like usually it trickles down to the fans. I don't look at hockey fans like idiot football fans that are Neanderthals and drunks and fighting all the time. Is that really the hockey culture? I'm not saying that fights don't happen. That happens everywhere. But are hockey fans like the kind of jerks that you see sometimes in the other pro sports? Hell, in baseball, we've seen people put each other into comas out west. Football, they're always fighting and doing stupid shit all over the place. How come I don't? Am I wrong here? Am I using an ignorant point of view? Because normally, hockey fans, I don't think we see them tied up and all that. I'm not saying that a couple fights don't break out here or there. That's going to happen, but not as common is what I'm saying as it is in those other sports where they just act like animals all the time, especially football. Football's the worst, dude. The worst. Big O, you're going to go to MetLife Takeover this year when the Dolphins play the Jets? I don't know yet. Depends. See, what I'd love to do is broadcast from the MetLife Takeover. That's what I really want to do, Devin, but I don't know how you can pull that off. The internet, all that kind of stuff, because, you could do the show, then you can talk to some of the different Dolphin fans and some of the presidents of the different Dolphin clubs, and all, especially Dolphin Club New York, that sets up the MetLife Takeover. I would love to do that kind of stuff. I think it would be so fun, but it's a lot of the logistics of it to try to pull it off. But just to go to hang out, I don't know if I can do that, because usually I'm working the pre and post, Ohio John, thank you for the love in the super chat. He says, speaking of obnoxious, not sure I want to go watch the Dolphins in Philly this year. Yeah, you definitely don't want to go to that city. And you definitely don't want to be putting on another uniform, another jersey in Philly. Yeah, the Philly fans are pretty crazy. Those people they're a few sandwiches short of a picnic. Brett says, Big O, no more obnoxious than any other diehard fans, more like desperate since Leafs fans haven't wanted. So, okay, all right. I'll take your word for it. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. You know what I mean? GP Trap says, yes, Big O, hockey has jerks too. Really? So it's as bad as football and stuff like that? Really? Okay. All right. I guess I haven't seen enough of it on social media and all that. You know what I mean? It's usually football and some basketball and baseball. You know what I mean? That's usually the fights you see and the craziness, even in the parking lots. Miami Cruz, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, I'm basing my observations in a thread in Florida Panthers Instagram page. Toronto fans were making crazy comments. Yeah. Okay. Giovanni says, fun South Florida sports night ahead. iPad on one side of me tonight, TV in front. Starlink, don't let me down here in the mountains of Western North Carolina where I live. Nice. Nice. So you use Starlink, huh? That's interesting. That's interesting. That shit is saved a lot of people at Starlink, man. It's been a great invention by Elon, that Starlink, because a lot of people in tough places are able now to have, an internet signal. They're able to stream and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Although I hear it's kind of expensive, Giovanni. I'm not asking, but I hear it's not like the same price as an average internet. You might pay just a couple of bucks more, I think. I heard, but again, it's actually super cool because you're really not at the disposal of a whole cable company. If it goes down, boom, cable is gone everywhere. whereas you're usually hooked up to the satellite all the time. So, how does cloud cover and storms and all that, how does that get in the way of that signal? I wonder. Because I remember the early days of Dish Network. I remember when you used to have certain cloud cover, it would get in the way, and I'd be pissed. I'd be watching a Serie A match, and that's the main reason why I would have Dish Network is to get Serie A back in the day. And then there'd be some cloud covering to go over, and I'm like, oh, shit, I'd be pissed. So I don't know how cloud cover affects it, you know. NorCal says, Big O, we need to try and pull off a Big O show during Fan Club Weekend in South Florida. Dates to be released in 10 to 14 days. Big O, what are you hearing on the Dolphins O-line and tight end moves coming soon, hopefully? Well, I mean, I'm not hearing, anything, but I'm going to tell you that I think Cameron Fleming is the guy that they're going to get and add to the O-line and be the swing guy. Okay? I'm going to say it's him over Taylor Lewan. All right? That I can tell you. On tight end, I got to think there's something else out there. I got to think that they've got one more move and it must be something on somebody's roster or, something like that. There has to be something going on, So I would not be surprised. We have the June cuts. Maybe they're expecting somebody to get cut or something. But for sure, they're going to add a lineman. That one, I told you before the draft, when they brought in all those linemen the last couple of weeks leading up to the draft, that tells me that they had targeted some linemen. Apparently, they didn't fall to him. Maybe it was in the Cam Smith pick. I don't know. Maybe it had to have been because it can't be the third rounder because you could have picked him in the second round. If it's somebody you want in the third, you could have said, okay, we love him so much. Let's just take him now to make sure he's there or whatever. Or you could have traded down in the second round, a couple of spots down, still pick somebody and get that lineman that you want. So clearly they must have targeted a lineman or two or three, whatever. I don't know how many. But before that Cam Smith pick, and it was gone. So then they went with Cam Smith. So that tells me they didn't wait till the seventh round to pick the Ryan Hayes kid. So that tells me that all those guys they brought in for workouts, they're signing one of them. And I'm going to throw the dart on the board. I'm going to tell you Cameron Fleming is the guy they probably want. Okay? Because he swings. And they need a guy that can swing. And remember, Brandon Shell cannot swing. Brandon Shell cannot play left tackle. So I was thinking about that. Hey, why haven't they brought back Brandon Shell? Oh, maybe they're looking for a swing guy, not Taylor Lewan, who can only play left tackle, or Brandon Shell only can play right tackle. Anybody thought about that? Probably not. I think about those things. So that's probably what's going on. And so that's why I think Cameron Fleming is the target, because he swings and he can play right and left and be productive on both. Whereas Luan's never played right tackle. He loves playing left tackle. And Shell is happy at right tackle, uncomfortable at left tackle. So get the guy that can actually swing. So I kind of definitely understand that. Miami Cruz, thank you for the love on the super chat. Appreciate it, as I said. John Santos says, I'm going to the Philadelphia game. All right. Do not wear any Dolphins gear. Just go enjoy the game. Do not wear Dolphins gear. Okay? And yes, Brett, I saw that. Gordon Lightfoot, Canadian icon, folk singer, yes, passed away. Yes, sir. But he lived a full life, so that's the good thing for him, at least. And thank you for the love on the super chat, John. Miami Breakers 305. I appreciate the love on the super chat. Remember, you can send in a super chat. You can send in a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. We get 100% of the donation there. On YouTube, we get 70% because those greedy bastards take 30. Miami Breakers 305 says, if I had 3 wishes this year, is for the Heat and Panthers to win the championship and big to reach 30,000 subscribers. I would love that. We would love that. Sean and I would love that. That would be very nice. That would be, hey, listen, we're blessed to be, approaching 18,000, and we would love to cross over to 20 and move on to 30. It would be very nice. Very nice. Thank you all out there, as always. Shang Tu Shung says, Big O, I want to get into crypto. What should I buy now that it's going to make me a lot of money? Okay. Here's my advice for you, okay, for those of you, because before it really goes crazy, there's still a lot of good buys right now. One, again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm just a guy that loves crypto. This is the way I would handle things if I was a rookie getting into crypto, knowing what I know now. I give you guys very simple advice at this. One, invest what you're willing to lose. Just like what you bet at the track, just like whatever, you know what I mean? That you're going to spend something. It cannot be your rent money, your mortgage money, money for food, money for your kids' school, money for your car, whatever it is, the things that you need in life. Just make sure it's discretionary income that you're investing first and foremost. Two, okay, Shang, the second thing that you need to have is patience. And you have to stay strong and stay convicted, okay? Once you invest, stay with it and do not go panicking and selling. And when it goes up or down, you got to stay strong, because higher highs and higher lows come in on the macro. The micro, you'll have some volatility, but when you look at it macro, you're going to see that it goes like this the entire time. So don't touch it. Let it go. Patience. It will grow. Of course, if you have the right ones, okay? So Bitcoin is still a bargain right now, all right? This is how I would do it. If you have $5, if you have $50, if you have $100, if you have $500, if you're blessed and you have 5,000 or 10,000 or 50,000 or 100,000, God bless you, okay? This is how I would break up the pie, and I tell you this all the time. 40% into Bitcoin, 30% into Ethereum. Then you can go 10% into several other ones. Polygon right now is worth it. You could go Polygon, which is Matic, Cosmos, Atom, Immutable X right now is in the 93-cent range, which is a steal. Chainlink is another one that you can do. Avalanche, I love. Polkadot, those, all those that I gave you there. Cardano, another one that you can do. 10, 10, and 10. 40% on Bitcoin, 30% on Ethereum, and let's just say 10% Matic, 10% Cosmos, and 10% Chainlink. Okay? Or Avalanche or whatever. Any of those that I mentioned, just put 10%. Polkadot, whatever. 10%. All right? And then whenever you run into a little extra money again, you got $50, you got $500, you got $50,000, whatever, whatever your flow of income is, right? Mine's a couple bucks. Some of you out there may have thousands, bro. You're blessed. But whenever you get a little extra money, you keep adding to the pie that way. Okay, I got my $100. All right, I'm going to put $40 into Bitcoin. I'm going to put $30 into Ethereum. I'm going to put $10 into Cosmos, $10 into Cardano, and $10 into Immutable X. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. Right? That's how I would start off and do it and stay strong and committed to it. Okay? And then watch it grow. And it'll grow over time. Good luck to you, by the way, my friend. Good luck. Good luck. Tua time. Thank you for the love on the super chat. says, Big O, random music question. Have you seen Chicago live recently? And if so, they are still worth seeing live. Yes, they still sound great. They still sound tight. So, yes, it's a good experience. Is it the original Chicago with everybody in it and Peter Cetera? Of course not. But it's still a very good band. They still sound excellent. Yes, very good experience to go see them. Toto still sounds good. Not complete either. But what is it? Lukather, right? The lead guy, he still does a great job, and the musicians are exceptional. And it's the same thing with Chicago. The musicianship is just absolutely sick. Okay, seriously. Okay, hold on a second. All right. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Can't text and write at the same time. Ooh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. You know, it sucks when you're alone because you haven't done everything that you're supposed to do. And you're supposed to do stuff and then you forget it. Okay, now we're set. All right. Hey, Revolution Live, Shinedown and Papa Roach, September 30th. Damn, that's a good one. Revolution Live is. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm sorry, folks. I am taking care of folks right now at the same time while I'm doing this. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. What else? Two a time. Yeah. So it is worth seeing, by the way. They are definitely worth seeing, Chicago. You will definitely enjoy it. Okay, there we go. Bitcoin's pumping, is it really? Let's see. Yeah, it is pumping. It's up $500 right now. Is that 28,000? It's up to 28,000, about 500 right now. So nice. Pat in Nashville says, "Oh, lately my investments have been 100%. U2 tickets." Also smart to set up a Roth IRA and have an emergency fund just in case. Yeah. Brett says, Big O, all this crypto talk has me thinking of the movie Trading Places, LOL. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Well, I figured I had the Panther hat on yesterday. I figure I got to give the Heat a little love tonight. So, you know. Oh, did you get the tickets to the Cure? Yeah, bro. I got tickets here in Miami. And then we've got 2 nights in Atlanta. So thanks to Pat in Asheville, he got tickets. He had a pair of tickets that he's selling to us, and then we got him a pair of tickets for the other night. So Pat in Asheville will be hanging out with us 2 nights in a row, doing a little Cure. Man, that's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll be at the Atlanta dates, the 2 Atlanta dates, and then the one here in Miami. So if any of you are going to the Cure concerts in Atlanta or here in Miami, would love to meet you and hang out, talk some stuff, have a beer, whatever, have a little fun. Looking forward to it. And if you're going to U2 in Vegas, okay, the aforementioned Pat in Nashville, I'll be with him on night 1, trying to see if my man Grieper can get a ticket for night 1. But I want to get a ticket for night 2, September 30th. So if anybody has an extra they want to sell, get in the building on the 30th, be able to do it. Lofi says, I would diversify. 4 banks down, dollar being challenged. World bankrupt, dollar being challenged. Yes. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be having your money all in the bank. It's not a sure thing right now. You know the hilarious part, the most funny part about all of this is that the uneducated and uninformed would tell me, "Oh, Bitcoin, it's a Ponzi scheme." And what they don't really realize that the real Ponzi scheme is the dollar. That's the best part. The one that you don't realize that the dollar is the damn Ponzi scheme. Oh man. That's why they want to switch you over to CBDCs and control you. All right, let's unleash the wolf pack.
We unleash the wolf pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
All right. There he
Oh,
is.
what's up with you, man?
I'm just hanging, bro. Just relaxing, waiting for some playoff games tonight. I'm sure you enjoyed James Beard Harden.
You know I'm gonna have to bring it up to you. I'm gonna have to bring it up because we've had these conversations, and you are not a big James Harden fan. You say he doesn't show up. He doesn't show up. He doesn't show up in the playoffs. So I gotta get your reaction. 45 points without Embiid on the road. That it looked like he showed up to me.
He showed up. He showed up. Yep.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. He showed up and the Celtics choked.
Yeah, that is true. But it's interesting. Harden got a lot of flack because you saw the video that came out with him in Vegas, and people were like, same old James Harden. He's partying instead of focusing on the playoffs, and he turns in this sort of game. And so we still got a long way to go. I'm not going to take my victory lap yet, but I did get a lot of joy out of how the game was won for the Sixers last night.
So what the hell is that, bro? Huh?
Yeah. Hey, when you wear that Cookie Monster fit, you know you're about to get the great night off. So here's what the thing is, I'm sure is for Harden. I think yesterday or this week is the Met Gala. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
What the hell is that? That's a James Harden event. And so he's busy in the playoffs instead of being at the Met Gala. So he's got to get his fit off. I'd imagine that's what he would have wore if he was going out there.
Oh my God. That's almost as bad as Kyle Kuzma's sweater.
Yeah, I definitely would not have worn that, but I also would not have scored 45.
Which one?
Either one.
Kuzma's sweater or James Harden?
I wouldn't have worn either one. But like I said, if
Dwayne Wade going deep sea fishing when he had those pants that were like all the way up to nearly to halfway through his calf or something.
Yeah. See, I feel like I've got a lot more eccentric sometimes and the ideas I could wear clothing wise, but there's a limit to how far I'll push it. And Cookie Monster fit is beyond my limit. But I will say, if James Harden needs to wear a Cookie Monster fit to score 45 and lead us to beat the Celtics, then I absolutely am for it. And so whatever you got to wear, James, whatever you got to wear.
Hey man, last night he responded, right? I mean,
he did. And
he hasn't had enough of those kind of moments. Actually,
he hasn't. That's why I say you were right. But my thing was, this year's felt different for the Sixers, and it's felt different for James. And a lot of the part of the season is they ask him to be a point guard, score about 20, assist about 10 or 11 a game, And when we need you to score, we need you to score. In this game, you don't have the big fella, the MVP. 33 points missing, the defensive elements missing, and he showed up. And so that's what you need him to do. And you stole a game on the road in the series where you didn't have Embiid. Now you could sit Embiid game 2 if you need to get him fully ready for game 3. And ideally, you got to make it a 5-game series. Even if they win game 2, Boston wins game 2, you make it a 5-game series and you got the big fella. And I'm with that. You got a 3-2 home road advantage on the game. So I'd take that as a win any day.
So you're saying the Heat should rest Jimmy Butler since
absolutely. I think the Heat and the Sixers should be in the same perspective with their stars, and that you already got one game. It'd be great to get 2, but I wouldn't want to sacrifice their health the rest of the series to try to steal one more game, which is obviously going to be more difficult. The Knicks are coming in; they're going to be hyped up, fired up, and they might win even with a 75% Jimmy. So I don't want to say you lay down and wave the white flag, but if you got a chance to get Jimmy 2-3 more days of rest and you got a better chance of getting 90% Jimmy, 95% Jimmy for the rest of the series, then I would take that chance. And same thing for Embiid. If you get a chance to get a 10 or 20% more of an Embiid the rest of the series by sending them one more game, then I'd do it.
Yeah, dude, it's almost a whole week that he gets the rest if you keep him out this game. Because they're gonna
and that's what I'm saying. Like I know every focus should be you got to win every game. You got to focus on that. But I also think you got to be smart in the long term and say this is most likely both series, the Heat, Knicks, and the Sixers, Celtics are going to be 6 or 7 game series. And so it's going to be that case. Then you got to make sure that your guy is going to be able to survive the series with his ailment.
All right, your thoughts on the draft? I thought when you really look at it, Bradley Chubb in the first round, Cam Smith in the second, Jalen Ramsey in the third, Devon A-Chain in the third, Tyreek Hill in the fourth, Jeff Wilson Jr. in the fifth, Elijah Higgins in the sixth, and then Ryan Hayes in the seventh. The draft looks like an A+ actually. With what you were given 8 resources. And you maximize with those 8 resources, I think, what you could possibly do with that draft. So, when you take into account everything that was done with those picks, how do you look at it?
Well, first, I see some people in here talking about the MVP. Embiid is definitely an MVP, not Jokic. Sorry, folks. Nobody's scared of Jokic, and Embiid is scared folks all through the way. Okay. Putting that aside, about the draft.
Actually, Jamal Murray's the guy that scares you.
Jamal Murray scares me a lot more than Jokic.
If Jokic
is a really good complete player. He's a great passer, much better passer than Embiid. But I don't give MVPs out because you're a better passer.
Well, no, but my point is, Jokic is awesome. He's fantastic, dude. He does everything. But if Jamal Murray is also balling, that's what really makes Denver super dangerous. Like you saw last night, he was off all night, and then towards the end, he started to hit baskets, and that's it. They pulled away, and they took.
And they didn't have Jamal Murray the last couple of playoff runs, right? And so he's the missing piece. So I honestly thought the Suns would be looking better than they have so far, but Denver and their depth has been a big reason why the Nuggets are up 2-0 in that series.
Brother, in the end, when it's all said and done, and he's 45 years old and he's sitting back, relaxing somewhere and having a drink and chilling, and he's just thinking about, thoughts going in his head, Durant's going to say, I should have never left Golden State. I should have never left Golden State. Like, that guy, all he did was give himself a freaking ulcer by leaving Golden State, to be quite honest. Instead of listening to all the idiots, you had to join a great team. No, dude, you were the best player on that team for those 2 years. Just keep riding it, bro.
Like I won another 2-3 titles.
Easily.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. So he's going to regret it. It's just, if he doesn't get out of this, you add another year to his body and the wear and tear and all that. It just, Yeah,
it's crazy. You're right about it. I think KD should certainly have more rings than he does, and he's probably going to go down with maybe 2 rings. Yeah,
I mean, it's ridiculous.
it's a bummer. It's a bummer.
Yeah.
But
So
on the draft, the draft question you got to, we're getting sidetracked by basketball. It's playoff time. What can you expect? But on the draft,
really not a lot to talk football,
no,
man. It's just
no, it's not. It's not. And this is really the last week of something fresh. We could talk about the draft, and then after that, it's like, are they going to sign Brandon Shell? We're going to be asking in June. That's going to be the main.
By the way, my theory is they're not signing Brandon Shell and they're not signing Taylor Lewan. Why? Because Brandon Shell can't play left tackle and Taylor Lewan's never played right tackle. They will sign Cameron Fleming because he plays both and can swing and excel at both. Neither guy, the other guys we're talking about, do not excel at the other way. And one, we know that with Brandon Shell. Two, we don't know that with Taylor Lewan, but habitually he will have to now change everything about his world. And from what I'm told, he's kind of set on playing left tackle. So if that's the case, that's not what Miami needs. Miami needs a swing guy. I think it's Cameron Fleming, but that's just me.
Yeah, Taylor Lewan definitely wants to play left tackle. He's a guy that you probably see signed. Yeah. I know Taylor Lewan a little bit, but yeah, no, I think he's probably a guy that ends up getting signed when a team gets an injury at left tackle and they need a new starter at that spot, or if they're not happy with their left tackle who's struggling for whatever reason, they bring him in. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be your swing tackle route. I think he retired before he played right tackle or was a swing tackle somewhere. But as far as the draft, the thing I love about the draft is it gives a lot of hope for every team. So you could talk to every single fan base in America right now that have been telling you how their draft is going to lead them to the Super Bowl, right? 31 teams are wrong. But here's what I'll say. Like, I try not to get caught up in the draft grades, who had a great draft, who had a bad draft type thing. But what I do think that I liked about
But not in this case, because there's a lot of established players with those picks.
Right. That's why I said what I do like about the Dolphins offseason is one of the big inefficiencies, I think, in the league is people overvalue draft picks. We do as fans too. We love the idea of the young player, you're under a rookie contract, the potential. This guy could become a star, but this guy could also become nothing. And so taking a chance on a Jalen Ramsey, who we know is a top 10 cornerback in this league, maybe top 5 for a third-round pick, to me is a great value, taking advantage of an inefficiency. Even if you got to pay him a contract, there's a 95% chance the third-round pick, every single third-round pick this year is not going to be the player that Jalen Ramsey is. And so you're getting that with that sort of pick. Bradley Chubb, we haven't seen it from him, but they feel like the value, seen it in that capacity for him yet, but they felt like the value for him is essentially a first-round value. And you look at some of the edge rushers in the draft, I say, okay, would you have rather had Bradley Chubb or Miles Murphy? That's probably essentially where you would have been there, the Clemson defensive end, right? And who knows, time will tell. But for the Dolphins making that move, they essentially said, hey, we'd rather have Bradley Chubb at this point. And so I like those moves.
They got Fangio, which should get the best of Bradley Chubb.
Absolutely. A-Chain is going to be a great fun piece for McDaniel to have there. His speed is next level. They're going to be fast. Literally a track team. And so, McDaniel's
Jeff Wilson Jr., your 5th-round pick.
Yep. Raheem Mostert's there in the backfield. You got your two, Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. It was so interesting talking to defensive coaches last year when they played the Dolphins about just how frustrated they were about the speed and the motion and how much it just created stress. Like, you're starting that game plan on Monday just like frustrated. And you added another weapon there. Now these guys got to stay healthy. A-Chain's a little smaller. Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson have had some injury issues, but you have 3 of them instead of 1. You feel a lot better about getting through the season in that perspective. And then Cam Smith, I know a lot of people were penciling in, hey, we need a tackle, we need a tight end. But Cam Smith, we talked about it a lot on this show, which tackle, which tight end they're going to take. But they clearly stuck to their board, and Cam Smith was in the first round for a lot of people, And so you get a guy like that who gives you short-term and long-term depth at corner. And, they kind of, we heard Greer and McDaniel kind of double down that Jalen Ramsey is a corner. But I think what this does do in game plan wise, it gives you more options. So whether it's Cam Smith or Jalen Ramsey, if you got a matchup that says, hey, we got to put somebody in the slot, We've got a monster receiver in the slot this week. We've got a Travis Kelce. We're facing that tight end. We want to send some blitzes. We want to send some blitzes off the edge because we need that speed off the edge. Put Jalen Ramsey in the star role that he was in with the Rams. Maybe it's just a 1 or 2 game situational thing, and then you could stick Cam Smith outside, but maybe they don't have a true bona fide outside number 1 receiver, and it gives you a fluidity with your game plan. And so you got to think chess, not checkers. Yes, you could fill a need and fill a tackle or a tight end, but if you got a 3rd round tackle, 3rd round tight end on your grade board, that's the top guy there, but you've got a 1st or 2nd round cornerback, hey, I'm with it. I think that's the smart move. And so we'll see when you get these guys inside the building what it looks like, but I think this Dolphins team has set their roster up to compete with the Bills for that AFC East title, and then we'll kind of see from there.
I'm with you. Yeah, I thought, overall draft-wise, what you did with your 8 picks, if you look at the big picture, I saw it as a very productive thing. All right, so I told you my theory on why it's going to be Cam Fleming and not the other guys.
Yes, you did.
Now let me give you another theory that is developing now.
Okay.
Last year, they signed a young man by the name of Tanner Connor.
Okay.
And they have stashed him on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, they went and drafted a kid by the name of Elijah Higgins in the 6th round.
Yep.
So what I think is happening is that you have your online tight end in Smythe and Salbert, and maybe there's another guy coming. Who knows? Maybe when the June 1st release is or something. But I think he's developing an offline tight end. And so you're not going to pay that experiment $11 million. That's what you would pay. So instead, he gets a couple of cheap guys. One's an undrafted, and this year a drafted, and have those 2 guys battle out for one spot that may be on the roster and may not even be on the roster. We don't know. It's kind of an experiment of adding more speed on the field like he did with A-Chain, that he added another. I mean, think about it, dude. Waddle, Hill, A-Chain, and Mostert on 1 down. How the hell are you staying with that?
Right.
What secondary, what linebacking core, what safeties are going to stay with those 4 guys? Not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's developing an offline tight end. And you saw it. The kid from last year he runs like a deer. Yeah. And I don't know if you watched any of the Elijah Higgins highlights. This kid's faster than what you think, actually.
Yeah.
Pull away from people. But he can't block, because my guys around the league told me he can't block. He's not a blocker.
Yeah. He's the modern move tight end. The essentially the mini Mike Gesicki, right? Where you probably don't want to pay those guys top of the end tight end money, but they still have value within your scheme as a big slot, as a detached tight end, as an occasional guy who you can get matchups with linebackers and you like your advantage. And so, I think there's still a role within the offense. Like, I think there was a lot of complaints about
experiment. You see the same experiment.
Yeah. Like, so here's how I view it, right? There was a lot of complaints last year about Mike Gesicki's usage, right? He was used maybe 30, 40% of the snaps because you had an idea of him as your main tight end, one of your main weapons. If you recalibrate that and you're using day 3 picks or undrafted free agents in that 20 to 30 or 40% role for Mike Gesicki, then it becomes a different avenue, right? You're not underutilizing Mike Gesicki. You're using these guys in the role that you had envisioned for Mike Gesicki. So I don't think that role disappears. It just becomes more the value, the type of player you have for that role is more a $1 million, $2 million player versus an $11 million player, which obviously is a more appealing from a business and a team structure perspective. And then also, when I was talking about the division and where the Dolphins are, I didn't mean to leave out the Jets. The Jets are in that too, a 3-headed race between, to me, the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Jets. But yeah, I'm with you. I think any way they can make this offense more versatile, more difficult for a defense to defend, that's something that they like to do. And so an inline tight end helps you as a blocker, and a detached tight end helps you as a matchup guy, another mixed match guy for defenders to face.
By the way, you're cold-blooded as hell. After the Bruins got eliminated, you just reminded Patriot fans that they mean nothing in the division. It's a
rough offseason for Boston, and I'm not gonna lie. that is what it is.
And your Sixers and Boston a loss yesterday.
I don't know that there's a lot of people. Boston's had a lot of success over the last decade.
Yes.
The Patriots, the Celtics, the Bruins, they have been in a lot of joy.
Red Sox.
And so
Red Sox won a couple World Series too, bro.
Red Sox. And so there's probably 31, 32 other fan bases across all sports who are not having any sadness in Boston's disdain.
So you're saying Boston needs to go about 20 years now without any kind of championship to kind of balance it.
I don't want to wish negativity on them because I don't want negativity on my team. But I'm just saying they have got their joys, and so nobody's going to feel sorry for them having some struggles.
All right. So outside of Cam Fleming that we talked about, if you agree with me on that, anything else you see on the horizon free agency?
Yeah, I think June 1st, you mentioned it. June 1st will be that deadline where they get the money back for Byron Jones' deal. And so some of that money will be used to sign these draft picks. I think you'll probably see the Dolphins maybe be one of the later teams to sign draft picks because they have that money coming in. Or maybe they'll use the rest of their money and then just wait until sign a player until after that. But regardless, they know they have an influx of I think 10, 11, 12, somewhere around that $1 million to come in. They're not going to use all of it because you always want to have some sort of money to bank in case something happens during the season. But it wouldn't shock me if they make one or two more moves that players that can actually play and add to this team. Tackle makes a lot of sense for one of those spots, maybe tight end or even, they've hinted to the fact that running back could be a spot that they continue to add to. Who knows? But maybe there's another another offensive weapon, and maybe there's another offensive tackle that would make sense there. And I still think that you're probably looking at a spot where you might need another linebacker there, whether it be on the off-ball side of things or as an edge rusher. So those would be the three spots I would look at and say, hey, if they make a deal between June 1st and training camp, it wouldn't surprise me.
By the way, that was a hell of a picture when they showed Burns shaking hands with his new quarterback.
Bryce, yeah. We joked about it, or Andrew Siciliano, who's our host, joked about it on NFL Network we were on yesterday and said that it was kind of like the father taking his son to school. And I'm like, oh, man, come on. Y'all got to give Bryce a break. Like Bryce has been a great quarterback. He cannot help his size.
No, I know, but that picture is like, holy crap.
Yeah. Hey, Brian Burns is a big dude. Dude, and Bryce is not a big dude. And so that is a very big contrast. It's like, what's that picture that used to go viral? And Derrick Henry and Deion Lewis when they stood next to each other when they were both Titans. You got a 6'2", I think he's 6'3", 250-pound running back, and then you got a 5'7", 180-pound running back. And it's just the yin and the yang difference there. And so, yeah, there's going to be a lot of weird pictures there. I wanted to see the Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young picture next to each other because that's the big quarterback and a small quarterback. I think we got our best go of it with Brian Burns and Bryce Young.
By the way, I thought Houston killed it.
They were certainly aggressive. You get C.J. Stroud, you get Will Anderson. I think Will Anderson is going to be a stud. C.J. Stroud was number 2 on a lot of quarterback boards across the league.
I think he's the best quarterback in this draft
because of the size, right? Because of the size.
No, his accuracy also. Yeah. I don't think this is why I love Tua,
right?
Because
accuracy special.
Dude, I'm not so much about you could throw it out of the stadium or you throw it 100 miles an hour. I've seen those guys, and I've watched Ryan Leaf suck, and I've watched Jamarcus Russell, and I've watched Akili Smith, and I've watched all kinds of guys over the years that are supremely gifted. That doesn't mean you're a good quarterback. Yeah. But when you have accuracy, I get sexually aroused, Cam.
Come on, man.
To me, that's everything in a quarterback, bro.
Yeah.
Everything is about accuracy and ball placement and anticipatory skills and all that kind of. You just got to have a strong enough arm.
Yeah.
But I think we have this love affair with the guy that can run and throw it out of the stadium. And then all of a sudden we think, okay, no, yeah, that guy's going to be a great quarterback. No, dude, there's a lot more to quarterbacking than that. And when I look at Stroud, the one thing that I love about his game is accuracy. Yeah, he's got a little more size. Yeah, he's got a little bigger arm, but that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is ball placement. And this kid knows how to lead a receiver, knows how to, has accuracy. And that's the kind of stuff that to me you can't teach. Right. When look, Cam, we all did this. You go to the park by our neighborhood. There's a 3-on-3, there's a 4-on-4, there's a 5-on-5, maybe. Okay. And we got two guys are the captains usually, and you usually get the two guys that are probably the best quarterbacks out of the group, and everybody picks those guys. But when you pick those two guys, there's always one guy that's better than the other. And we all want to be picked on that team because we know that guy can throw it better than the others. Yeah. And why? Because here comes some kid from the other neighborhood. Nobody was playing at his park, but he came over, bike rode over. Hey, you guys playing? Yeah, come on over, join us. The guy that can throw never played with him. He just tells him, yeah, run a long one. And he throws it, and he lands right in front of him. And why? You can't teach that, bro. You just don't teach accuracy. And you either have that or you don't. You go to the bar, and there's some of us that can throw darts, and there are some of us that are hitting the bathroom door. Right, because you either have it or you don't, bro. It's just one of those things. And to me, that's the one trait to me that stands out for CJ Stroud that I really like. So yeah, he has a little more size. So yeah, he has a little more arm. But what I really like about CJ Stroud is that he's got accuracy. And to me, that's the most important trait.
It's going to be a fun class to watch. 3 quarterbacks in the AFC South, Stroud, Richardson, and Levis, and then you got Young in NFC South. I'm going to cover a lot of these quarterbacks. I'm pumped for this. I think Anthony Richardson, keep an eye on him. He
scares the shit out of me because of his
guy. He's one of those guys where defensive coordinators are not going to want a game plan against him. He may have some games where he goes 11 of 22 for 170 yards, and people are like, "What is he doing?" And then he's going to have some games where he goes for 450 total yards. And 5 touchdowns and wins a game on itself. And those are the ones that scare me more than anything else. And so watch that.
Well, the one that scares me is the Jalen Hurts of the world, because it's the first time I actually see it, that the guy that comes in that's like an athlete actually really sharpens his accuracy. Yep. And that's what takes Jalen Hurts to the next level. And to me, if Richardson does that,
and I think he will. I think he will, and Indy's going to look like a genius. We're about to go, but I will tease this. Next episode, I got to talk to you about Lamar Jackson and his deal. We have not talked about it, the deal. We talked about the agent and the fact that he didn't have an agent. Now he's the highest paid quarterback in football. And
he would have made more money 2 years ago. You and I know that. They would have added more to the existing contract with incentives and all that, and then the new deal would have started. He would have made more money in the long term.
I'm just saying for a guy who did not have an agent, he did pretty well for himself.
Yeah, well, because he went off of, you know what it is? Baltimore always wanted him. They were never trading him.
I told you they were going to make it work.
They had to go through this whole mess of let him go through his thing of let him find out what it's that thing that if you love someone, you let them go because you know they're going to come back. If they don't come back, they really never loved you. It was one of those things. It's Baltimore loves the kid. Look, man, all they've ever done is cater to the young man. They've embraced this kind of football where it's not normal to embrace this kind of football because this is not the kind of football that wins championships. And so you embrace it, and that's all they've done. But they let him find out that nobody's giving guaranteed deals, and he found out. But you and I know that a real agent would have had him making extra money after year 3 in his contract. That years 4 and 5 would have been incentive laden, and he would have added more to his thing. And then year 6, the new deal would have, or maybe year 5, the new deal might have started. Who knows?
So we'll have a lot more discussion of this next time on Friday because I have a lot more to say. But I will say that he got the same deal that Jalen Hurts got with an extra $1 million in guarantees each year. So
he got a little more. He did good in that sense, but he would have made more in the long run with a real agent. There's no doubt about that. All right, follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. and catch his work there at the NFL Network. Cam, as always, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you immensely.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Make sure you follow him on Twitter and catch him there at the NFL Network. And
this has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. Remember, I know that the deadline just passed and some of you didn't file. Maybe you're a little complicated right now. And don't freak out, man. Use that QR code right there for KSDT. Wherever you're at, it doesn't matter. Anywhere. And then just call them. They'll take care of you. I promise you. Maybe for your home, for your personal or your business, maybe you need an extension. They can get you the extension. And by the way, if you're a crypto investor like I am, they have a crypto department also, so they can help you to do your taxes and do them the right way and pay your taxes and everything going on. So make sure you call my friends at KSDT CPA 305-670-3370. All right. What else do we have? Wilkins, 10 million plus this year. Sign him and do the guarantee. You can free up 7 million. Yeah, they will sign him. They'll work out the deal. Thoughts on River Craycraft? He'll be battling for a final spot on this team with everybody else. Let's see. Lamar was clever. I give him credit for getting it done. He could have made a lot more money, man. It's that's the deceiving part of it all. He should have been making extra money in years 4 and 5. That's what a real agent would have done. After the third year, the agent would have sat down and said, hey, he's completely outperformed the deal, won the MVP, time to restructure, and they would have restructured it. And they would have given him incentives, and he could have got an extension from there on out, from the years 4 on. He could have added years after that and signing bonuses and all kinds of stuff. He's lost a lot of money. Okay, let's not kid ourselves. He's lost a lot of money. If you really know how this game is played, he could have been making more money and bonuses in years 4 and 5, and he failed to do that. He lived on the rookie contract, which did not allow him to make more money. So, it's all good because the average person just looks at it and says, oh, you see, he just got Hurts contract and added a couple more million, and that's it. He got a better deal himself. Yeah, that's not how it goes. He cheated himself out of money in years 4 and 5 already. He's lost money. And who knows? Maybe an agent could have gotten him more money than what he got. You never know. Well, actually, no, I do know. An agent would have done way better than he did. Way better. Do you think a chain takes over as a clear art? No. He's a complimentary back. He'll get 5 to 10 carries maybe in a game, right? And then he'll be a receiver out of the backfield. He will not be there is no number one. Okay? Mostert and Wilson are your A's and B's, and then he's a C. You got to get that bell cow shit out of your mind. There are no number ones. Mostert might end up with 16 carries and Wilson 12, but there's no 25 carry guy, and then the other guys are 5 and 6 carries each. That's not happening. Okay, so Mostert will get 12 to 17 carries. And Wilson will get somewhere between 10 and 16 carries. You know what I mean? They're going to share the load, and then a chain will get 5 to 10, maybe. 10 on a really good day that he's in a groove, but probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 5. He's going to be a change of pace guy. And then I'm sure him and Mostert are going to be used as receivers out of the backfield because of their speed. But There's no number one anymore. And A-Chain is not big enough to be a number one. He's a 180-pound guy, dude. So he's a returner and a third down back and change of pace, that kind of stuff. You don't see alarm. Oh, no, but we have it back here. That's all. See? There's Sloman's right there, actually. Actually, Sloman's is headed to that's what I was texting. I was texting Sloman's to take care of another customer in the Keys, actually. So, yeah. Because our listener was asking, does Sloman's do the Keys? And they did, and I told them yes, and so I connected Sloman's with them, and so there you go. What else do we have? Big O, do you see us keeping 5 running backs? No, 4. Cook, do you take him at the right price? Yeah, $3 million, 3.5, something like that. Free agent. There'll be no trade. There'll be no big money. I keep telling you guys, they're not giving anything major for Cook. That's not happening. Okay, if Cook is released and he wants to sign here for a lot less money, then he can do that. But outside of that, they don't really need Cook. They're not dying for Dalvin Cook. And Dalvin Cook will not be a number one here. He's not going to get 20 carries, 25 carries. They don't like to do that. They want to spread the ball around. I don't know if Cook wants to be part of a committee. So they're not going to pay you $8-10 million to be part of a committee. They're not going to pay you $6 million to be part of a committee. They're only going to pay you a couple $1 million. I just don't see the Dalvin Cook thing working out here. It just doesn't make sense. I keep telling everybody this, but it's the Miami thing. So a lot of you have no objectivity whatsoever. Eric thinks that A-Chain won't touch the ball more than 5 times a game. His rookie year will be focused on return game unless there are injuries. I'm sure he'll touch the ball. You might be right. In his first year, he may not touch it to 10 times. You might be right. Now, then again, you might be wrong. He might be a really smart kid and gets in a groove. But definitely in the return game. That's one of the reasons why you drafted him. Big O, if the Heat wins tonight, is it over? Yeah, definitely. And the Knicks are losing to, a Heat team that isn't necessarily like this world beater or anything. Big O, do you see that kid Higgins replacing Gesicki or more to replace? No, he's a tight end. I already talked about it, Jesus. You may want to rewind to the Cam Wolf interview. I explain what I think is going on with Higgins. Nowadays, it's running back by committee. There's only one true workhorse, and he plays in Tennessee, and even those tires are losing tread. Exactly. Yep. Return, I think we got Berrios with that. No, but that's punt return. You'll use this kid in kick returns. Is probably maybe even punt returns too, by the way. Maybe because he's shifty. He's really good. He's got some shiftiness. So, yeah, you can have 2 guys back there. So you can, on the kick returns, you can put Berrios on one side and A-Chain on the other. And then on punt returns, you can have Berrios there. And if you have an injury with Berrios, then A-Chain takes over for Berrios. So it also gives you depth too at the same time. But I would imagine A-Chain will be your main kick returner, even though most of them go through the end zone. But if some are able to be returned, then A-Chain's got the special speed that he can, house that thing. And, on games that you're using Berrios quite a bit on at the slot, and maybe he's, been used a lot on a driver too, you bring out A-Chain so you don't wear out Berrios on punt returns at that moment. You can do it like that. So it's it's kind of you're always thinking ahead and trying to see, okay, we have a position, but what else can this player do to help us out? And that's where A-Chain can also help out with depth purposes too. Big O, how many games do you see the Panthers Maple Leaf series going? Dude, I have no idea. But I'm going to go Panthers in 6. Okay? You may be right. I might be crazy. Oh, but it just may be a lunatic you're looking for. Big O, does Elijah Higgins look like another Terrell Owens, but at tight end? Well, that's high praise, bro. I don't know. Terrell Owens was a beast, bro. Beast. I know he's an idiot teammate at times, but as a talent, he was a freak. Hell, he's still a freak. He's still in great shape. Anyone remember last year's rookie names? Do they make any noise this year? Yes, Azukama and the linebacker, Channing Tindall. Yeah, let's hope so. They better. I don't want to hear about year 3 for those guys. Year, it's enough. They had their year. It's the same system, so they should both, help out right away. Well, actually, the defensive side, it's not. Poor kid has to learn a new system. But it's his second year in the NFL, and he needs to start stepping up, Big O, if the Heat beat the Knicks tonight without Jimmy Butler, the mental breakdown of Stephen A. Smith and Michael Rappaport will be classic must-watch. Yeah, that would be fun. You are right. Big O, did you see the prices for the Heat home games and the Panther home games? Man, they seem pricey. Yeah, well, that's today's world, bro. That's just kind of like what's it called? Like look at concert tickets nowadays. Look, I've seen Aerosmith is doing their 50th anniversary, and they're calling it their final tour and all that kind of stuff. I got no interest in seeing Aerosmith in this tour. One, I'm not even sure Steven's going to be singing everything, and there ain't going to be any tracks playing behind him. But besides that, I mean, I've seen Aerosmith a whole bunch of times, and because they're going to be charging so much, it's like, I've seen Aerosmith in better days than where they're at right now at this point. So I'm passing on that concert. And why? Because it's going to be through the nose. I love Def Leppard, right? And I do love Motley Crue, right? But I would never go see Motley Crue anymore. I have given up on them the last couple of tours because Vince can't sing. They're playing tracks behind their music. The other was a couple months ago, I saw a video where the concert started and the music's playing and there's nobody behind the drums and you're hearing the drums. And so it's a track. And it's just, they're ripping people off, dude. They're not really performing anymore. Some of these bands, because whatever, and they're ripping you off. And so then the prices of the Def Leppard Motley Crue concert were ridiculous. And I was like, yeah, I want to see Leppard, but I'm not paying the money that they want because I have to also tolerate Motley Crue. And so I said, hell no. I mean, the other night, Motley Crue was just on the draft. Did you hear Vince Neil? That guy can't sing anymore. Sounds horrible. And I was like, no, I'm not giving my money to Motley Crue anymore. I saw them in their heyday when they could sing and when they could actually perform. Now they're just stealing money. And that's what I'm afraid of with some of these bands. Like Aerosmith. It's just a money grab. You're just stealing money. These last Kiss tours here, Paul Stanley's not even singing all the time now. He's got a track playing behind him. It's kind of ridiculous. Now I don't think it happens every night. I think there are nights where he doesn't have the voice, so he does it. But yeah, it's money's kind of out of control. And sports or music, it's gotten out of control. So I don't blame you, Frankie, if you don't want to go pay the prices and watch it on television. It's very understandable. Let's see. Holland is going to have a monster year. I agree, Zach. Azukama would give Finns a large wide receiver and with good yak. Nice changeup for more smallish speed demon wide receivers. Yes. Yes, and hopefully he will shine this year and help. He looked great in the preseason, but it shows you that the regular season is a completely different monster. Yeah, Vince Neo's completely washed up, dude. Terrell Owens did a podcast with Higgins and his buddy who is doing the podcast with him, and that Higgins is Terrell Owens now, whether that's true or not. Wait a minute, but bro, are you talking about T. Higgins? You sure it wasn't T. Higgins that they had on? Not our Higgins, but the Cincinnati one? Because the Cincinnati one actually really looks and plays like Terrell Owens. Our Higgins does not look or play like Terrell Owens. I don't know what podcast you're talking about, but if you're doing a podcast and Terrell Owens with Higgins and his buddy, I kind of think it would be T. Higgins, not our Higgins, because our Higgins, Elijah Higgins, is a nobody. I don't know why they would bring him on. He's just a kid from a college. You know what I'm saying? I think, Isais, I think you're mixing it with T. Higgins from Cincinnati, because that makes, like, our Higgins does not look anything like Terrell Owens. But if you tell me T. Higgins, now the resemblance is there. Long, athletic, fast, same as Terrell Owens. T. Higgins and Terrell Owens are a lot alike. Our Higgins is nothing like Terrell Owens. I think you guys need to look into that a little bit more. And I think that that's where that other question came from. I think some of you out there are not paying attention to your Higgins. I think that's what's going on. Okay? Just saying. Ray says Motley Crue sounded horrible maybe 20 years ago, not anymore. Yeah, I know. They're done now. So, who's Higgins? Dan B says, Big O just looked at the price for the Aerosmith's cheapest $271 nosebleed section. Totally ridiculous. Almost $1,000 for seats down below. Just sick. Yeah, no. And you're not even, you're getting a shell of a band already at this point. I could not pay. Now, listen, some of you out there that maybe you love Aerosmith and you've never seen, Steven Tyler and all that, then I get it. I get it. If you want to go pay for it and all that, I just want to warn you ahead of time, just in case, Our Higgins is built more like David Boston. No, not even that. Not even that. Our Higgins, what kind of player would I compare Elijah Higgins to? It's an interesting one. He reminds me body-wise a lot of Evan Ingram, except a little slower than Evan Ingram. Trying to think of some of the guys that he might remind me of. Higgins from Magnum PI. There you go. You put Evan Ingram too there, Nixter. Nice job by you, except a little slower because Evan Ingram is really fast. Would be cool to see the Black Crows again. I saw them recently. They were pretty good. Nah, Charles Clay. No, I would look. He has more body like Evan Ingram than Charles Clay. Big O, did you see the 7th round rookie offensive tackle's intro? He was talking about 298 was his small size after being extremely sick. I was worried at first. R. Higgins looks like Kellen Winslow the second. Yeah. Yeah, the body's kind of a little bit like that, yeah. Although, was Kellen Winslow the second maybe a little, no, maybe might have been the same height, actually. I thought maybe he was maybe an inch or two taller, but maybe I think you're right. He might be the same height. Big O, Joey Kramer isn't even going to be on the drums. No, he's not. He's staying with the family, health wise, and all that. The rigors of touring, probably can't do it anymore. Big O, the band U2 will be the last band standing once Larry returns. U2's acoustic record is amazing. The Edge is a guitar god. Yes, he is. He doesn't get enough credit. Edge is one of the most creative guitarists in the history of music. The sounds he gets from his guitar, he's not going to fly through the frets like Yngwie Malmsteen or Eddie Van Halen or anything like that. It's a different kind of guitaring, but the musicianship behind what he does from record to record and the sounds that he gets, Edge is so underrated, it's not even funny. Okay? Plus, I mean, he continues to make hit music over 40 years. That's pretty special from those people. Who was the coolest coach from your experiences in Miami? I love Pat Riley. Maybe my favorite coach to cover ever was Pat Riley. John Bowles was such a magnificent human being. Felipe Alou, while he wasn't any of our managers, I got to talk to him a couple times when he came in as a visiting manager, and he is as gold gets. Just priceless. But for us locally, Dave Wanstead was such a good person. I rooted for Dave Wanstead personally. I like Dave Wanstead, the human being. I didn't think he was a great coach. I thought he was a great defensive coordinator. But he was a guy that was very likable, man. Such a really good human being, Dave Wanstead. Who else did I like or enjoy covering or root for personally? Jimmy was fun to cover, but he was kind of a jerk at times. Jim Leland was a pain in the ass. Doug McClain. Doug McClain for the Panthers was a very good coach to cover. Really good dude. Had a sense of humor. Was personable. I really enjoyed covering Doug McClain. He was fun. I really had a good vibe with him. Let me see. I'm trying to think of. Oh God, Ray Hudson. Jesus, as a fusion coach, that was magical to cover that guy. Very personable. The most colorful coach I've ever covered in my entire life. Yeah, I would have to say. Yeah. Joe Philbin, a schmuck. Cam Cameron, a putz. God, who else? Tony Sperano was a nice guy. Okay. Tony Sperano was a really nice guy. That's one of those guys you rooted for because he meant well. Emotionally, he was completely sold to his team and his players. I didn't think he was a very good coach. Rest in peace and all that. I got to call it like I see it. But he was personally a guy you want to have a beer with. Like when even though it's like Wanstead. I can't say anything ever bad about Wanstead, the human being. I think Dave Wanstead is a fantastic person. I think he's a really good dude overall. Like I told you, I rooted for him. I wanted him to succeed. Did I think he was a good coach? No, I did not think he was a good coach. I thought personnel-wise, he made some really terrible decisions. You know what I mean? And this guy was the same way too. That Sperano was a guy that was very likable, but not a good coach. Not a good coach. And it's kind of that's a give and take. Spo is cool. Spo is money, but I've covered very little of Spo. I actually covered more Spo when he was an assistant coach than a head coach. I've been, out there at Heat games and post and all that, and for here or there, but I can't tell you that I'm dealing with Spo on a daily basis. You know what I mean? So, but when the transition first happened, I dealt with him for a short time, but I dealt more with him as an assistant coach. Actually, I would run into Spo a lot. I would go to this place called Rock and Rose Sushi back in the day in Miami Beach, South Beach, and with my wife. Then she was my girlfriend, and we would run into Spo, and I think like once a month there. Good dude, good dude. But yeah, it's coaching is kind of an interesting thing. Oh, here we go. We got Manny Navarro. Thank God I looked because, with Sean not being here, I'm kind of lost. But Manny Navarro is ready to go.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All right, there he is. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Feeling great. Oh, how are you?
Excellent. Can't complain. What'd you think of the draft and the Canes?
Good day. I mean, look, they had 3 players drafted. I thought it was only going to be 2. DJ Ivey, has those big long arms. He's big-bodied 6'2" cornerback, so he was able to sneak into the 7th round. Good for him. Happy for him. He's a good kid. Just didn't have a lot of success at Miami in terms of highlights, right? A lot of big plays he gave up, but maybe he's the kind of kid who rebounds and has a good NFL career. I know DeMarcus Van Dyke always loved DJ, always loved his attitude, and wish he'd played better, but it is what it is.
Okay, that I'm interested in to see what he does at the next level. I don't really have a lot of hope for the kid. I was kind of surprised that he got drafted. Will Mallory is a guy. Obviously, we'll talk about Stevenson too, but Mallory is one of those guys that I think fits in today's pass catching tight ends in the NFL. Yeah. I really do. And if he can stay away from the injuries, who was it? The Colts, I believe, took him, right?
Went to the right team, right? I mean, that's kind of a team that's rebuilding, new coach, new quarterback, so many different new things going on in Indianapolis. It's kind of the perfect place for him to land himself a spot.
And Stevenson, will he be the best one out of the lot, you think, in the NFL?
I hope so. I hope so for him. My issue with him was always speed. I always thought he was more of a safety than a cornerback. I'm interested to see, how it is that the Bears decide to use him. Is he a tweener? who kind of switches between positions, moves to safety, moves to cornerback, back and forth. I think talent-wise, there's no question he's got the goods. He's got talent. The thing is the overall speed. I think he's more of a safety than corner, but that's just my opinion.
Right. And by the way, DJ Scaife onto the Dolphins.
Dolphins got a couple
roster.
Hurricanes, didn't they? Didn't they get a few guys? A couple of guys. I think they got a defensive end too.
Yeah, they got one more guy, Mitchell Agude.
Right, the UCLA transfer from a year ago who came in and was a rotational guy for them. So, yeah, I mean, look, the Hurricanes have no problems getting on practice squads, right? It's getting back into the Pro Bowl. It's where you want to be if you're a Hurricanes fan. Yeah, you want some Hall of Fame players to come through here again. Practice squads, that's a cinch, brother. I think they'll be on plenty of practice squads. The thing is, can they be NFL starters? Can they be Pro Bowlers? Those kind of things.
Well, Jaden Davis. Talk to me about Jaden Davis.
Yeah, look, a kid with a lot of experience. Started 22 games at Oklahoma. Not really big, more of a 5'10", 5'11" type guy. But he's got a lot of experience. I think close to 1,500 snaps in his career. And, he's joining a position at cornerback really where, again, we just talked about two cornerbacks drafted from Miami. You got to replace those two outside corners. I liked what I saw from some of the guys in the spring game. I thought Daryl Porter Jr. looked better than maybe you had in camp, or at least the reports that I'd been hearing. Damari Brown, the transfer from UCF, he was the other starter in that game. He had a pass breakup in the end zone against Colby Young. So Jaden Davis is going to come in and he'll compete for one of those starting spots on the outside. If not, they'll bump him inside to the slot corner when they go to dime package type thing. So we will see it. Look, the more bodies, the better at Miami. You got to kind of just go your way, kind of find your way through it. If you're Mario Cristobal coming off a 5-7 season, you bring the guys in. And you hope that between experience and the incoming talent, you have enough to upgrade the position. But it's a process, brother. You got to recruit better at that position year to year to year. And I think it really starts at the high school level. The transfer portal, getting a De'Ara King, getting a Jalen Phillips. When you do those things, it's like landing a 5-star. Okay, it happens every once in a while. It doesn't happen all the time. You're gonna get guys like a Jaden Davis or Mitchell Agude who come in and they're just rotational pieces or part-time starters. I think in a lot of ways that's probably what Jaden Davis is. I think he's just a guy that'll be out there and play for Miami, and you hope that he has some good days.
Well, 800 kids are transferring out of Colorado. Is Miami getting any of them? Any of them worth it?
I to be honest with you, I don't know. I mean, I keep saying this over and over again. They were a 1-11 program last year, and Deion Sanders, whether people want to admit it or not, because maybe they have a personal agenda against the guy, they don't like the way that he talks or carries himself. But the guy knows talent. Okay, he went to Jackson State and he turned that program into a winner, and I think he's going to have success in Colorado. If Deion doesn't want him, then and I'm Miami, I probably don't want him.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Sometimes it's maybe the guy can play, but there's a difference of opinion or what they think or whatever.
Yeah.
And plus, we talked last week about that one receiver that does have good stats. And then you're like, okay, where's he going? And Miami does need a receiver. So I will follow up with that. Any word on a receiver out there that is actually good that they can get to transfer in?
Well, Xavier Henderson, who I mentioned him last week when I was on with you, the Miami Columbus grad, who was at Florida, big-bodied kid, probably a number 2, number 3 receiver in this type of offense. Obviously Miami is flirting with him. They're trying to get him to come back home and play here the same way they did with Jaden Davis. So I think that's a name. I know that there's a lot of other big names that have come out here. I talked to Max Olson, who works with me at The Athletic. He's in charge of our transfer portal coverage. Every time I talk to him about some of these big-time receivers, the response I get is USC or Texas or Ohio State. Miami had a really bad year last year throwing the football. I know they've got Tyler Van Dyke back. I know they've got a new coordinator. I think money's going to have to come into play here, I think, in helping them swoop in one of these big-time receivers, just because they didn't have a strong track record last year. And let's face it, As much as we may like their new coordinators, those are guys coming from programs like Houston and Marshall. They didn't come from Alabama or Georgia or some other place with some huge reputation for developing guys. So I think as far as the receiver position concerned, we're wait and see. I don't know. I think their best bet is Xavier Henderson as far as a guy who could be starting quality receiver.
Talk to me a little bit about the IMG sale. I thought that was a really interesting thing. And boy, they sold it for a lot of money.
Yeah. Previously owned. Yeah, exactly. Previously owned, I think, by one of the MMA companies or a partnership with one of the MMA companies. And they're basically sold now to a company that has a bunch of these sort of prep schools all over the world internationally. And so
33 countries, bro.
33
Jesus.
countries, including Asia. So all the elite schools, boarding schools where kids actually stay there and live there, obviously, in a college type atmosphere. Basically what they're doing is they're bringing in IMG to help them set up their athletic programs at their schools. And then at the same time, I think IMG, the flip side of it is IMG is going to probably have access now to more and more international type student athletes who say, I want to go
the branding of IMG, in other words.
Right. And then the elite ones from China and wherever else they are, all throughout Europe, those kids say, man, I want to go to America. I'm going to go to IMG and Bradenton. And so it just opens the door more networking, more sort of sharing. But yes, IMG is not going anywhere. They're not downsizing it. Yes, it was sold, but the brand is very, very strong.
They're moving it from Bradenton to South Florida. Is that what you said?
That'd be nice, right? Make it easy for me. I wouldn't have to drive 3.5 hours to go over there.
Yeah, 1.25 billion, dude. Holy
yeah, that's the valuation on it. Yeah, a lot of money.
Man,
that was one of the more well-read stories at The Athletic, believe it or not. People were very, very interested in that story.
It caught when I saw that. It caught my eye. I had to read it. I said, "Wow, this is like super interesting." Anybody that thinks that high school to college business isn't big business, well, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, because look at that, dude.
Well, look, I mean, all the shoe companies, all the sports drink companies are still looking for the next big stars, right? They want to get in early. They want to sign these athletes and have them market. And I know in today's age, it changes. It's changed a little bit with social media. You don't have to necessarily be a great player like the Cavender twins. They weren't superstars in women's basketball, but they were good enough players on their team and good looking enough, certainly, right, to help them market products. So I think in today's age, maybe it's changed a little bit, but I think still everybody wants to get in on the ground floor on the next stars in whatever sport it is. And
they
IMG is
were
that place.
They were just courtside. What I forgot what NBA game they were at courtside. Was it Memphis?
It might have been Memphis. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was. I know it was the Lakers series. It was the Lakers Memphis series. Yeah.
Yeah, it was late. Right. Exactly. It was Memphis. Exactly. Yes. And they were there, and they were like, it's like those two girls are stars, man. It's like they're all over the place. Social media, man. If you can, if you know how to manipulate it and you can get it done, and God bless them, they don't really have to work another day in their lives. They really don't. They probably have enough money to just survive for the rest of their lives if they wanted to. And
but think about that move. I mean, they weren't going to do that at Fresno State, but you come to Miami, it's a different animal, right? I mean, it's the way it is. And so I think every one of these athletes nowadays, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a bigger platform.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy stuff. All right. Anything else on the recruiting front that we should know of?
Look, man, I mean, Mario's going to keep at it. I don't think they're done with the transfer portal. I know they're not done on the recruiting trail. There's more and more guys that'll be visiting here over the summertime. The one thing I would say is just show patience. This is kind of the boring time. There's not a ton that's going to go on in these months. The June visit period is coming up. Once the visits get cranked up in June and we get to the end of June, beginning of July, that's when you'll start to see the big daddies, the big war daddies, make their commitments and get linked up with schools. And then at that point, we will be able to better evaluate where Mario is. But right now, don't pay attention to the recruiting rankings. Okay, I just went through it yesterday. Texas and USC. Texas has 2 commitments. Texas A&M has 2 commitments. USC has 3. I'm pretty sure all 3 of those programs will be in the top 10, top 15 Miami is in the same boat. They basically have gotten a bunch of 3-stars that'll fill out the class. The best players are still to come. So have a little bit of patience. It's just around the corner.
All right, good stuff. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro and subscribe to The Athletic, baby, so you can get the latest on what's going on with the Canes nationally all over the place. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up later on in the week.
Good talking, though. Take care, buddy.
Thank you, my friend.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right. And don't forget 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Go check it out. Go see Brett, Jeff, all the great people out there. Tell them that Big O sent you. And if you can't make it to Davie, maybe you live too far, maybe you live out of town, you go to caneswear.com and you buy over $99, you will get free shipping. Can't beat that, man. Go to caneswear.com and check it out. Love it. Let's see. Ohio John, thank you for the love on the super chat. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. That's Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can also make a Bitcoin donation there, which we love. Ohio John's asking, who are your top 3 Fins Freak athletes all time? Jason Taylor, Zonka, Daryl Gardner. Okay. I can put Tim Bowens in there. I can put Ricky Williams in there. I can put Jake Long in there. Freak. And remember, Daryl Gardner is not even in my, top 50 Dolphins all time or whatever, or maybe even top 100, but because he was here such a short time. But let me tell you something. In that first couple of years when Daryl was here and he had his moments, because Daryl didn't have seasons. He had moments because he didn't know how to bring it every down. But he was as freakish as it got. Okay? I mean, like Jake Long is way better than him, and Ricky Williams, and, tons of players. I'll take O.J. McDuffie over Daryl Gardner every day of the week and twice on Sundays. There's lots of Dolphin players that I'll take over Daryl Gardner. I mean, tons and tons of them. Okay? But if you're asking me freak, like athletically, like you just see what you see, that it's like, okay, not too many people can do this. Zonka, JT, and Daryl Gardner. When Daryl Gardner wanted to blow shit up, you weren't going to stop it. That was a wrecking ball, and it was coming your way, and you weren't going to do anything about it. That's why I would throw him in there as one of the most freakish things I've ever seen in my life. And then he was built like a defensive end. He didn't have an ounce of fat on him. He played defensive tackle with an 8-pack. Okay? Daryl Gardner didn't have a 6-pack. He had an 8-pack. I've never seen that in my life at defensive tackle. Ever. Ever. And I don't think I'll ever see anybody built like Daryl Gardner at that position. So I have to put him as just the most freakish thing I've ever seen out there. JT's the other one, and then Zonka. Doesn't get any freakier than Zonka. That's for sure. Let's see. Gus 1388. Thank you, sir. He says, good comp for Higgins is Jordan Reed. There you go, minus the concussions. That's not bad. I like that one. I like that one, Gus 1388. Very nice, sir. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, interested in how many would rank the top 5 AFC QBs today? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. And by the way, I do want to remind you out there, folks, okay, just in case, if anybody is going to U2 in Vegas, you happen to have an extra ticket for September 30th, because I'm already going to be there for the show on September 29th. If you have an extra pair, that would be even better. Okay. But if you happen to have, reach out to your boy. Okay. Big O radio show at yahoo.com. Okay. So just in case, if you already got your tickets for U2 Saturday, September 30th in Vegas. It's a day before my birthday. I'd like to get the second night there. So just in case anybody's out there selling them, I need to go. Jack McKeon, I didn't cover Jack on an everyday basis, so I can't really talk about Jack, but I heard he was all right to deal with, but I occasionally went to the Marlins, rarely was there during that time. I was already a full-time talk show host, so I wasn't really a beat guy. So I can't really tell you too much about McKeon. But he looked like he was all right. Like he wasn't a bad dude to cover, I would think. Let's see. The podcast with T.O. was Elijah. It was? Wow. Well, he's nothing like T.O. Maybe they were just being nice, but he's nothing like T.O. at all. Not body, not the way he runs. No, not even close. T. Higgins is more like T.O. That makes a ton of sense. Anybody that tells you that Elijah Higgins reminds you of Terrell Owens, that's not true. Not true. Darryl Gardner was a species unto himself, solid as granite. Yes, he was. Yes. Don't remember, but before the Pat Riley era, did you ever cover Kevin Lockery? No, I did not. Or did I? Oh, I think I did, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I might have caught the back. I think I did catch the back end of Lockery. And he wasn't a bad dude, by the way. Lockery wasn't a bad dude. Yeah, I did. I think I did cover. Yeah, because I remember covering when Riley got here and we were on the boat. And I was hoping that the Heat would hold all of their press conferences on Mickey's boats because the spread was just amazing. I'd never had salmon for a press meal until then. Oh, that was so good. God, we had the press conference on one of Mickey's boats and that's where Riley said, I have a dream of, a parade in downtown Miami. And well, they've done it 3 times. So yeah. Let's see. Seeing Tim Bowens in Best Buy years ago made me realize I never want to play in the NFL. Yeah, you don't want to mess with Tim Bowens, bro. Tim Bowens was one of those country strong dudes, bro. Really good dude. Really good dude. Really good dude. Okay. He goes under the radar. I've told this before because he had that face that was intimidating. You know what I mean? And he would sit in that locker of his and he'd look kind of angry. So people would be terrified to approach Tim Bowens. And Tim, if, he didn't really want to talk, he'd kind of just give you like this look to kind of like scare you off, and it would scare people off most often. I was a different monster. I had a great relationship with Timbo, so I could walk over, interview him anytime I want, joke around with him. He allowed me in his circle. Okay. He was cool with me. So, I had a good relationship with him. So I could never say, I don't think anybody really could say anything bad about Tim Bowens. It was one of those things where they were just intimidated by Tim Bowens. It was more a myth than anything else. because Timbo was super cool, but he just didn't allow people into his circle. So, but dude, what a player, man. What a player Tim Bowens was. He made Zach Thomas's life so much easier. Rosendo says, that's how long I've been listening to you. He said, don't remember, but before the power. Okay, yeah. I got you. Okay. Let's see. Jesse Johnson says, you are a good person about sports and you know what you're talking about. You look at both sides. That's why I like, and that's why I like about you, Big O sports real good. Big old, keep it up. Yeah, I am big old. Yep. I am big old. I'm big and I'm old. But thank you, Jesse Johnson. I appreciate you and appreciate the kind words. Nico says, crazy that Tim Bowens played with 2 toes on 1 foot. He lost 3 toes in a lawnmower accident. Timbo is just a freak of a human being, dude. That's all. And strong as an ox, man. Strong. Knight, thank you for the love on the super chat. Starting a team, you get 1, Duper or Hill. Oh, I'm going Hill. Going Hill. Because Hill's a little bit more dynamic. Duper's about speed. Hill has the athleticism that he brings, to the table. That takes it to another level. Check here to make sure. Okay. All right. All right. By the way, Bitcoin is over 28,500. It's at 28,573. It's up 1.5% right now. Trying to make a little climb. The market's kind of lightly in the green. I would call it something like that. If that's a term, lightly in the green. Although the Dow is not lightly in the green. The Dow is down 540 points. The S&P is down 68 points. And the NASDAQ is down 1.33 points. And we'll see more and more banks crumble, unfortunately. All right, what else do we have going on in the world of sports? We got Heat tonight and Knicks, 7:30 TNT. Butler questionable, Brunson is questionable, and Randall is questionable. I would not be surprised if Butler and Randall are held out and Brunson does end up playing. I think he's going to end up playing. 10 o'clock tonight, game 1 between the Lakers and the Warriors. Doesn't look good for the Suns. I'll tell you that. Denver took care of them last night, 97-87. They led for a while, the Suns, and then CP3 got injured. I watched the game last night. I think Denver is just a better team. And Kevin Durant's going to regret his decision. Sixers defeated the Celtics 119-115. No Embiid, but Harden, not Hardaway. Harden had 45 points, 6 assists, 2 steals. Tatum added 39 and Brown 23, but the Sixers have a 1-0 lead without Embiid. That is strong, dude. Big time strong. Lakers and Warriors tonight. By the way, the Warriors are favored by 4.5 on the Lakers. 228 is the over-under. Lakers are plus 160 on the money line, and the Warriors are minus 190 on the money line. Okay. So you got that. Jordan Love signs a 1-year contract extension with the Green Bay Packers. $22.5 million. That guy hasn't even played, and they're giving him $22.5 million. You know what's funny? With Tua, you had some people that I actually didn't think they should give him the option. And here's a guy that was the number 1 rated passer in the NFL last year. Here's the Green Bay Packers, who traded up for a guy now going into his final year of his contract. And guess what? They had to extend him and pay him $22 million, and they don't even know what they have. He could be an outright bust. Jordan Love could be a star, but he could be an outright bust. How crazy is that, dude? That makes no sense whatsoever. Just like it makes no sense if you don't call Cutter's Edge Pro like we did. Change your entire landscape. Change the look of your home. Improve the value. That's right. The value of your home goes up right away when you add the landscaping. The look completely changes. We're at the entrance of the cul-de-sac where we live, and all of our neighbors that have gone through now have all given us love on the work that William, Mike, Gilbert, all the great people out there at Cutter's Edge Pro did, putting all of this together, folks. And they do it all from tree trimming removals to landscape design, outdoor lighting. Our lights change nightly if we want, weekly if we want. We want to, celebrate the Canes or the Heat or the Panthers or the Marlins or the Dolphins or Inter Miami. We can use their colors, man. It's a beautiful thing. We can change it up. You can do the same thing. Call the great people at Cutter's Edge Pro. Tell them that Big O sent you. They'll take care of you. 954-472-0622. Irrigation, design, synthetic turf. I've got the synthetic turf here in the backyard for our dogs, and it is the greatest thing, dude. It is so easy to maintain. A child can maintain it. And it saves you hundreds and thousands in the long run, because for the next tons of years, you're not watering the lawn and cutting the grass. That's going to save you a lot of money. Hell, you got to cut the grass here every 10 days to 14 days. It rains so much, especially during the summertime, that the grass grows like weeds, man. So call the great people at Cutter's Edge Pro. 954-472-0622. Shivad says Big O Bam needs to step up. He, like Joel Anthony out there, I get so frustrated watching him play. I got you. I understand. Makes sense. All right, let's take a quick break. Hour number 3 is next.
I tell you guys all the time about Cutter's Edge Pro, man, and what they did with our backyard and made it a pure oasis. That's our Sylvester tree right there. On a beautiful day, providing a ton of sunshine. We've got one exactly like this out in the front yard, and it is absolutely gorgeous. There's Bono hanging around on the artificial turf. What's up, Bono? What's the word, baby? There you go, wagging that little tail. Maiden, there she is. Ziggy. How you doing, Ziggy? There you go. So we got the doggies hanging out. So just want to give you a little, we got some of the trees starting off from this way with the artificial turf. You see, there's Ziggy again, of course. Got it all the way. And look, we got some flowers coming out. That tree now will start to also spring, and it's absolutely beautiful too. So got all that. They can do all kinds of things for you in your backyard to kind of make it an oasis, which is what we've done. And obviously the dogs can play. What's up, Bono? I got him there hanging out. Maiden, there she is. There she is, the one and only. She's mean as a skunk, by the way. Just want you to know. She's awesome with us, but I mean, if you're a stranger, you don't want to meet mated. So as you can see, and then the artificial turf, remember, there's no watering. There's no cutting the grass. It looks fabulous like this the entire time. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Back here in this corner is where we put the barbecue. I wheel it out, cook, then I wheel it back in. See, looks beautiful, doesn't it? Flowers are coming out. It's awesome. And then when I want to play a little golf, there's my putting green down the side, which is a beautiful thing. There's one of the holes all the way to the other side where Bono is at. All lights up. It's really beautiful when it lights up. See, we got the rough. Got several. Got one on that side. Got one over there in the corner. Urbano's leaving. Got rough all over the place, man. Just in case, you get the ball trapped in there. That's it. That's another swing. Right, Maiden? So, check it out. CuttersEdgePro.com. Make your home an oasis. Make your business, your HOA complex, condominium, you name it, they got you, bro. They do it all. All right? They can cut your trees down, and the artificial turf, I swear by it. Really easy to maintain, and it looks just absolutely freaking beautiful. Cutter's Edge Pro. Right, Ziggy?
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Sir, hour number 3 of the program. All right. Let's see. Big O over here, struggling without Sean big time. Jesse Johnson says, do you remember Mark Coleman? You pay for the Miami Dolphins defensive lineman. You talk about Marco Coleman, the Cobra. So is that what you're talking about, sir? Not Mark Coleman, Marco Coleman, the Cobra. Yes, I remember the Cobra. It's playoff time. Butler will play. He will pace himself. I remember seeing Michael Jordan with a high fever throwing up, scoring 40. Yeah, but high fever and a ankle injury that you might be able to make worse and not help you the rest of the way. No, this is a little different. You're already up 1-0. You already took away home court advantage. Maybe you're better off giving him the rest because he gets a whole week almost. He gets 6 days to rest that ankle and get all that swelling out as much as possible. So it's a little different, Rosendo. Let's see. He shouldn't play Butler. They already snatched home court from the Knicks. better let him heal up and get back to at least 90%. I don't know if he'll get to 90% in a week, but he'll be a lot better. He'll be a lot better, that's for sure. Would you compare Elijah Higgins and a little bit to David Njoku? No, Njoku's more of a freak athlete and bigger. I kind of like the Jordan Reed comparison a little better. Yeah. I would sit Butler tonight, says Strafasi, and see what happens. Hopefully Bam and Lowry show up and see if we can win tonight without him. You can try. Yep, you can try. It might be better off giving Jimmy the rest. Remember how Grant Hill played hurt in a playoff series and ruined his career. He was never the same after that. Yep. I would concur with that, sir. I would definitely concur with that. All righty. When sports and business collide, we like doing something called the KSDT Sports Business Report. All right. And don't forget, use the QR code that's there for you. If you have not filed your taxes and you're a little late right now, hey, call the great people at KSDT can get you an extension just in case you're hurting a little bit. They can figure it out there for you and help you out so they can file that extension for your business, for your personal taxes. Call the great people at KSDT CPA. Tell them that Big O sent you. I promise you they'll take care of you. And if you're a crypto investor like I am, they have a crypto department too, so they can help you out with your taxes. J.J. Watt is trading in one kind of football for another. The ex-retired NFL star announced that his wife, Keela, and himself are joining the English soccer club Burnley FC as minority owners. There you go. So now Sports Business Journal reports the Watts have committed to making regular appearances at Burnley matches, supporter events, and other team happenings. Kelia, a former NWSL soccer player who has represented the United States on the women's national soccer team, will also be especially involved in building Burnley's women's team, the report adds. Founded in 1882, Burnley competed in the EFL Championship, second tier of English soccer this season, after they got relegated from English Premier League, the first tier, for finishing at the bottom of the three last season. But under first-year manager Vincent Kompany, the former Manchester City captain, Burnley took first place in the EFL Championship this season, thus earning themselves a promotion back to the Premier League for next season. As for Watt, the three-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, he just retired in 22 after his 12th year in the league. He's been a fan of English soccer for years, though, often tweeting about his support for Chelsea FC. So now the Watts are officially soccer owners. Interesting. A lot of these athletes are investing in teams. I just saw where Snoop Dogg is joining the bid for a hockey team, right? If I'm correct, I forgot which hockey team. I'm blanking right now because I know I ran into the story and I know I read it, but I'm forgetting which is the soccer team that he's trying to get in on the bidding for. So it's just kind of interesting watching some of these folks, get into the sports business. And that, folks, is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. Hey, we got the Heat game tonight. You got the Panthers game tonight. Sports Grill, man. 8 great locations Fantastic place to go watch it. Go with friends, go with family members, go by yourself. Order some special grilled wings. Take the sauces home. The Miami Heat sauce, the Dale, the barbecue. Come on, man. That's a beautiful thing. When you go down a sports grill, enjoy yourself. And it's Tuesday, $2 tacos right now, chicken, beef, or fish. 8 great locations, and check out the newest location in Doral. It's about a mile north on 87th Avenue, right from the golf course. And you can't miss it right there on 87th Avenue. It is awesome. Go check it out. All right. PDC says, Big O, are you concerned for the lack of young drafted players being added to the team and the consequences 2 or 3 years from now? Like who? You mean they didn't add Cater Kohu? Channing Tindall isn't on this team because he hasn't even started yet, and he maybe becomes a part of it. Eric Ezukama, not a young player for you? I'm sorry, I must have missed it. And then they didn't add like Higgins now, and they add like Cam now, and aren't they trying to win now? So if you're trying to win now, you got to add Teron Armstead and Connor Williams and Tyreek Hill. I think you're overreacting on something that doesn't matter. And young players, what are you talking about? They've got to re-sign Tua, Jalen Phillips, Sealer, Wilkins, Waddle, Holland. They've got to re-sign all these people. These are things that they hit on. You know, stuff that the Dolphins never did before. Like, they hit on all these guys. You got to pay them. I don't know if you know that. Those are young players that you got to pay. And Rob Hunt, you got to pay. I know I'm forgetting. Okay? I'm not sure if you know this, but you got to find money to pay for all these guys. They're like your foundation. All those contracts are coming up over the next year, 2, and 3. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I see them with plenty of young players that they can now re-sign. Brandon Jones, if he makes the transition, dude, he's going into year 4 next year. Guess what? You got to re-sign him too now. Not sure what you're watching, but I'm watching a team that's developed a lot of young players, and they're going to have to re-sign them. That's a lot of money that they're going to give out. Again, narratives that are created, and they really don't exist. Just saying. Let's see. The Memphis Grizzlies have informed pending free agent Dylan Brooks that he will not be brought back under any circumstances. Really? No way. Did Shams really report that? I mean, I would not bring back the idiot. Hey, listen, yesterday, I took LeBron's side. I don't take LeBron's side for a lot of things. Okay? But if that's the case, let's see. Yep, the Memphis Grizzlies have informed pending free agent Dylan Brooks that he will not be brought back under any circumstances, league sources say. And you know what? Other teams are going to have trouble bringing that guy back. Okay? So that makes a lot of sense that you would do that to him. Why would you want to bring that guy back to your team? You don't build franchises with idiots like Dylan Brooks. So that's a really good move by Memphis. They definitely don't need this. Oh, Pac West Bancorp trading halted after it dropped 30% today. More banks, baby. That's why Bitcoin got a pump. Bitcoin is going to explode, man. I mean, you'll never see these prices again, ever. ever. Because eventually you will learn that our banking's, wow, I didn't see already another bank. And these idiots are going to raise rates again. Okay. Which then limits your banks even more because less loans are being written out. People are obviously caving in on the current loans that they have because interest rates are soaring. They can't make the payments. People are getting unemployed, so they won't be able to make payments. I mean, this is they're just making it worse and worse and worse. But anyways, in the end, they can't do anything because they either have to raise rates to kind of bring inflation down, and then they have to then print money to overcome, which then buries our dollar even more. So they have no way out of this at all. Okay? It's headed to the inevitable, which is obviously that it will implode the entire system. Wow. Another bank going down. Not surprised. I told you guys over the last 2 years that banks will start to disappear. Let me tell you something. I didn't expect it to happen this fast. I thought it was, when I was telling you this over the last 2 years, I was thinking more macro, maybe 5 years down the line. I did not think that from the first time I started talking about this, that 2 years later, the banks would start disappearing. I really did not think that. I was wrong there. I expected banks to disappear, but not this fast. This is really, really bad. Really bad. Big O, Green Bay is going to look to tank this upcoming year. Well, whether they want to or not, they'll tank. They've got Jordan Love, so that's all right. That's how it goes. The Grizzlies really told Dylan Brooks, don't even hope for a new contract. Yeah, I want to see who signs him after all of this. That's what I want to know. Who's the one that's going to bring that guy to their locker room? That, to me, is the real question. Who would sign that guy? So, sounds like the causes of the Great Depression Part 2. I hope not. I hope it's not that bad, but it's going to be pretty bad. It's going to be pretty bad, So it doesn't matter who's been in office, too. It's not a Democrat or Republican thing. They're both disasters. They both print a ton of money. They both make terrible decisions. And it all started back in the 70s when Nixon took our dollar off gold. And then since then, we've just made one bad decision after another, after another, after another. And every one of those presidents after that have all contributed to all of this. And all the people that we vote in, and the Janet Yellens of the world, and all these people that are put in place, they're all the ones part of the burying us. So, it is what it is. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I guess it's fashionable to buy an English soccer team now. Yeah, definitely. It makes a lot of sense. So Dylan Brooks not getting a contract. I love that, dude. I think that is freaking hilarious that he's not getting a contract. I think it's hilarious that he's finally being treated like what he is, a freaking idiot. I absolutely love that. That's awesome. Let me see if we got any other headlines going out there outside of that and Jordan Love getting a 1-year contract extension. Did you see that they halted betting on Alabama baseball games? Is that a crazy story? So Ohio gambling regulators on Monday instructed the state's licensing sports books to halt betting on college baseball games involving Alabama after suspicious wagering activity was detected on the Crimson Tide's game against LSU on Friday. The directive issued by Ohio Casino Control Commissioner Executive Director Matthew T. Schuler and obtained by ESPN prohibits the acceptance of any wagers on the University of Alabama baseball effective immediately. Schuler wrote that the emergency order was in response to a report from an independent integrity monitor on Friday. U.S. Integrity, a Las Vegas-based firm that monitors the betting markets, issued an alert to its sportsbook clients regarding suspicious wagering activity involving Alabama LSU. Because there is no national gaming regulator, a halt on wagering typically happens on a state-by-state basis. Sportsbook FanDuel has removed Alabama baseball games from its betting menu in all jurisdictions as a precautionary measure. ESPN has reached out to the Ohio Casino Control Commission for comment. LSU led Alabama 8-1 after 7 innings and held off a late rally by the Crimson Tide for an 8-6 victory on Friday in Baton Rouge. The Tigers, by the way, were around minus 245 favorites over the Crimson Tide in that game in question. Somebody taking some money to try and win or lose a game? Huh? What's going on? What's going on? Interesting. Oh, it's the Senators. Thank you, GP Trap. Ottawa Senators. That's it. I read the story that Snoop Dogg was joining the group to buy the Ottawa Senators. And by the way, he's always been a hockey guy. Snoop Dogg. Okay? Like, he's usually wearing jerseys. He's like the cool thing about Snoop, he looks like an all-around sports fan. You know what I mean? He's at almost any kind of event I've seen him at. You know, I've seen him at hockey games. I've seen him boxing, MMA, football, basketball, you name it, baseball. He's all over the place. He's like me. He's an all sports guy. So that's cool. And why not, man? Hockey's grown a little bit since it hit its valley. It's grown a little bit. Listen, it'll never be like basketball and football. It's just, you know, what are you going to do, unfortunately? And it's a shame. Because really, let's be honest, it's the best live sport that exists. Football, baseball, and basketball, they were meant for television. Hockey is the greatest live sport that exists. It's really not close. The problem is, for some of you, you don't like hockey, so you don't give it a chance. But if you like hockey and you're honest, the best live sport that exists is hockey. All the other sports, yeah, you might have fun live or whatever, but really, they were made for television. Football's not made for live. It's really made for television. Baseball, television. Basketball, definitely television. Hockey, not made for television. No, it's not. It's the worst sport for television. It's the best sport live, worst sport for television. So if you've never been to a hockey game, I just want you to do whatever you can to go to your nearest NHL team, buy a lower bowl ticket, and just experience it once. And that's it. And then tell me. Okay? You will love it. I promise you. If you love passion and effort and just all out, you know, just emotional play, go to a hockey game live. Go check it out. And if you go to an NHL playoff game, oh my God, you will get the bug. I promise you. It's for those of you that have never given it a chance. I wish you give it a chance. You will change your mind. Miles Deep says, good morning, Big O and Sean. Greetings from Las Vegas. Let's go Fins, Heat, and Panthers. Yes, sir. I still can't believe that Vegas is about to get now the baseball team, and they still don't have an NBA team, Miles Deep. I would have never guessed that, my brother. I would have bet my life. Okay? I would have bet my life 10 years ago that basketball would have been the first expansion pro sports league in Las Vegas. I would have bet anything. Like, to me, it was a no-brainer to bring basketball there with the Vegas Summer League and everything else. I thought Vegas, and plus they're more liberal than the other leagues. So the whole, you know, how gambling was so taboo with pro sports, that the NBA would be the first one to kind of accept it. I was so convinced that the NBA was going to be first in Vegas. I am So floored by all of this. Freaking hockey was the first one in there. That's the one I would have picked last for the desert, was hockey. Hockey was the first, and basketball's the last. That makes no sense. Weird. So weird. I go to maybe one NFL game every 3 years, not as good as watching from home. Yeah, no. The NFL is made for television, dude. You don't really get to see everything when you're live. It's different. Big O, the Dolphins are going to destroy teams this year. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm super excited. You know me, I'm not one of those that is caught up in our 20 years of misery. I think this team is headed in the right direction, and I think we're going to have a great team this year. Just need the luck. Just need a little luck to stay away from a lot of injuries. You're going to get a couple, but it can't be what happened last year. You know what I mean? And it certainly can't happen to Tua. We need Tua. We need Tua badly. Even the AHL is competitive and more affordable. I haven't been to an AHL game in a while. I went to the Solar Bears once years ago. God, it was a while back. I've got a Solar Bears jersey. To me, it's one of the coolest hockey jerseys in the history of mankind. I mean, seriously. Hold on a second.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
You know, when you're alone and you got to run the whole goddamn thing, it's not easy, bro. But anyways, this might be one of the coolest logos in the history of mankind. So I knew that they were playing up there, and I said, I got to go to one of the games, and I got to get me a jersey because, I mean, come on. Look at that thing. Is this not one of the most badass logos in the history of mankind, the Solar Bears? I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. It's one of my favorite logos of all time. So I had to get the jersey. So good. So good. It's one of my favorite jerseys, man. So, yeah. Thank you, Strafasi. So, let's see. What the F is Sean? Sean is in the hospital, Bromar. Okay? He's been in the hospital since last week. Way to pay attention to the show. That's a sick polar bear Coca-Cola commercial. Rajan says, Eric, NFL games are more fun if you buy more expensive tickets, $300-$400 tickets. Bills games here have clubs where you get great food and watch all the games on TV while watching the live game. Yeah, it's a lot of money. I think I'd rather be home. Okay? I think I'd rather be home. You know? I enjoy watching games at home more than anything else because I really get to see everything, rewind, take notes, all of that kind of stuff. Hockey's the only one that I like regret if I'm not there because that's the one that's the best live. So looks like the Coca-Cola polar bear turned into Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay. All right. Yeah. But it's a great logo. It's just a beautiful logo. They did a really good job with the name, the logo, all of that kind of stuff. I don't know if anybody else is listening that's in Orlando and actually goes to The Solar Bears are still there, if I'm correct, right? I think they're still there. I'd have to look it up, but I want to say that they're still there. Again, Sean not here, can't help me to look up all this kind of stuff. Rather spend $300 on a great spread and watch on my 80-inch 4K. I completely agree. I'd rather be home with friends and family members and have my own bathroom and food and get to watch everything and take notes. And yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's the best way to do it. Remember, you can always make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. By the way, Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show at Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. U.S. regional banks right now, stocks are collapsing for First Republic Bank. Pac West is down 30%. Western Alliance down 25%. Metropolitan Bank down 21%. Home Street down 15%. Zion Bank 10%. Key Corp 7%. Harbor One 6%. And Citizen Financial 5%. This is not good. And that's because people are, well, they're being smart. They're taking their money out, man. And especially those people that, like, I mean, can you imagine? Like, I wish I had that problem. I'd love to have that problem. But can you imagine some of you out there that actually have this beautiful problem that you actually have more than $250,000 in the bank? So now you've got to, like, if you have 500,000 or a million or 10 million or whatever, you've got to now break up that into multiple banks now, because you're only insured up to 250. So you're going to lose the rest. Yeah, it's like really screwed up now for people that, you know, have those kind of, I would love to have those kind of problems. That's a fat ass mattress, by the way. You can't keep it in a bank and you got to put in some kind of mattress. Bitcoin, but I'm not a financial advisor. I mean, after all, you can only make those thousands into million. You're doing a pretty damn good job without Sean. Thank you, I appreciate it. But I am struggling without Sean. I need Sean here badly. I just want him to get better. First and foremost, you know, they switched him on the antibiotics, so they're preparing to allow him to go home today. So hopefully he will be home today. I haven't talked to him yet. I'll reach out to him now when I get off the air to see how he's doing. He did get to see the show yesterday and see a lot of the well wishes from you guys out there. So very nice of you. And you know, you can always put it on the chat board and send it out and all that stuff. And he'll get to see it. He's probably watching right now he's probably laughing at me that I'm, you know, an idiot running this whole thing and not doing very good. So he's probably just laughing at me, but we love you, brother. We'll get you back soon. I know O says he's going to be a rotational back, but I was watching some of his highlights and he looks explosive as hell. We might have something at the running back position. He'll be a rotational guy, bro. 5 to 10 carries, returner, and then a pass catcher out of the backfield. He's not going to be the featured guy. They're not going to do that. They don't do that here. It's a committee type of thing, man. That's all. It doesn't, you know, Travis, you don't want committee anymore. You know, unless you're Derrick Henry, that you can take that pounding. Plus, he's a 180-pound back. But what you want is to attack them at all different levels with all different kinds of guys. So you're pounding them with Jeff Wilson once, then you're freaking him out with the speed and a little power from Mostert, and then you've got this guy who is just going to be a terror. And the way that Mike McDaniel can play design. Remember before McDaniel got here, remember how I would constantly complain about play design and all that? His play design's amazing. And he is going to design plays where that kid is going to be out in the open field because you're so worried about Waddle and Hill and maybe even Mostert also coming out of the backfield. And then this guy's going to be somewhere that he's going to be all by himself and Tua's going to find him. And that kid's just going to fly and run. You know what I'm saying? because you're going to be so worried about all the other speedsters on the team. So I just don't see him being any kind of bell cow or featured back or anything like that. But I do see him being the complimentary guy to the top two. I do. And remember, he also has to help out on special teams because he and Barrios will be your special teams guys. I would imagine Barrios is your punt returner, and he's your kick returner. Or they could use both on both situations. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to run their special teams. Not exactly sure. Let's see. The problem is that the administration has gone above the 250K limit to bail out their friends at the Silicon Valley Bank. That was a big mistake. Yeah. Well, my man, the bigger problem is they have like about 150 billion in the FDIC for 9.4 trillion that's deposited. They don't have enough money to insure everybody. That's the thing that people, it's like, this is so crazy. The Solar Bears are still around. Yeah, I thought they were. I was pretty sure they were. I haven't been to a game in a long time, man. Long time. Yeah, chain too small for 20 carries. Definitely. He's not gonna, no. 5 to 10. That's my thing with the chain. 5 to 10. That's where I think he's going to be in that area. Let's see. Big O, you and Sean coming to Summer League this year to Tommy Rockers. We have a couple of other trips. I don't know if I'm going to do that because we're also going to Zach Thomas's induction to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I hate to say it, but that might be more productive for us. So I might end up using the money investing there for that than the Summer League, to be quite honest. It's right around the same, and they don't overlap, but expenses. So, you know what I'm saying? I might have to lean to Zach instead this year than Vegas Summer League. That's what I've been thinking of. Let's see what else. Well, I use NFL Bites to watch Miami games here in WNY, Western New York. And Why Not TV costs $0. Okay. SVB, if FDIC did claims, would wipe out off 20% off their reserves. Yeah. Big O is also going to the Super Bowl. Yes, I'll be going to the Super Bowl in Vegas. Yes, I'll be going to that too. We'll definitely go because the Dolphins are going to be in the Super Bowl. So now that the Dolphins are going to be in the Super Bowl this year, I've got to be there in Vegas. Big O, ever hear of ball-ins worth knowing what banks can do to save themselves? No, you mean bail-ins. I'm sorry. Big O, ever hear of bail-ins worth knowing what banks do to save themselves? I don't think the banks can do anything to save themselves at this point because they're all over leveraged. That's really the problem, Lofi. They've over leveraged themselves. They've got all their money, out. And then when people come back to get their money, there's no money. And then what are they doing? Then they have to then default on loans and all that kind of shit and to get the money. And it becomes just an absolute mess for them. And on top of all that, they were tied down to a whole bunch of deals, government deals, obviously, that were like 1%, 1.5%, and then inflation soared and rates are at 4 or 5%. So those loans, they're losing a ton of cash. And then if they want to sell those loans, they have to sell them like at 0.25% or something. So they're losing like 1% already on 1.5%. So they're barely making anything. It's just an outright disaster. They can live those loans out, but the problem is that customers are knocking on the door going, I want my money. And they don't stay liquid enough. Instead of, you deposit your money and they go and lend out 90-something% of the money. Instead of only maybe working 20% of the money, but because they want to get returns on their for their stockholders, they over leverage themselves and then they put themselves out. And now they've over leveraged themselves on all kinds of bad loans. because inflation soared, and now they're not making the money on those loans. They're losing money on those loans. So these banks, especially the mid-size and small banks, they're getting wiped out. The government's going to cover the big banks. The top 6, 7, 8 banks, they're going to protect those banks. But all the smaller banks, you're watching them all disappear. You're watching them all go down the drain because every one of them does this. And by the way, every banking system in the world does the same stupid things that we do. And they're all over leveraged, and they're all having the same issues and all that stuff. So we're done, bro. We're done. It's the inevitable. The crash will come. It's just how long can they put it off by doing all the crap that they're doing now. So Carlos says, I cut the cord and want to figure out a way to watch football without paying $90 a month. Well, you guys got to get that thing. What's it called? The Fire Stick, right? You just got to get somebody that that can get you the Fire Stick, and apparently that's where a lot of people watch everything for free, I think. So, knock yourselves out. I agree. He looks amazing. Playing by committee should keep him healthier and around much longer. I was hoping they would draft Valladay. He went undrafted to somebody. I thought 6th or 7th round. Texans got Valladay, says Jason. I'm convinced we are in full-blown depression now. We're in a recession. We've been in a recession for a few months. What I think we're going to go into stagflation is basically what I think we're going to end up doing. And this whole thing about them getting it down to 2%, we'll never see that again. We're going to live somewhere in the 3 to 4% range permanently. There's no way he can bring it down to 2%. Too many people would have to be out of work, and oh my God, it would be a disaster. So we're going to live with higher rates when it comes to inflation. That whole, we got to bring it down to 2%, bull crap. They'll never bring it back down to 2%. We'll go to 3 or 4%, and that'll be our norm. Hell, they've already fudged the numbers as it is. We're already at a higher rate as it is anyways. Everything, inflation, you name it. It's just they've fudged the numbers now to make it look the way it looks at 5%. It's really higher. But whatever. It is what it is. We're going to see rapid devaluation of the dollar. Yes, much faster than the 68% that's happened for the last 80 years. You are correct. You are correct, Mike. You are correct, my friend. Unfortunately, you're right. I hate to say it. You're right. Can't stand it, but you are right. Marlins back in action tonight against the Braves. Bryce Elder taking on Sandy. Sandy has not pitched well. He's got a 5 ERA, and nobody is caring about Sandy pitching tonight. Why? Because the Heat and the Panthers are playing tonight. We've got 2 teams in the playoffs, second round of the playoffs. Forget about it. Nobody's going to be watching, but I hope Sandy can pitch better. Miami is favored by a 1.5 with Sandy on the mound. The over and under 7.5. Remember, Miami does not play well against Atlanta. Atlanta and the Mets are 2 teams that they struggle against. Atlanta's plus 110 on the money line, and Miami is minus 130 with Sandy on the mound, who has not pitched well. Oh, and by the way, if the Marlins want to unload a salary, supposedly they will get an opportunity at unloading a salary. Yeah. I was doing a little research, they call, preparation for the show, and the Yankees could be targeting a Marlins slugger. Yeah, that's right. People have talked about Cody Bellinger and Tyler O'Neill and other guys like that, but Jorge Soler, the 31-year-old power hitter, he could be the option for the Marlins. All right. He has 2 years remaining on his contract at a reasonable $12 million per year. He can occupy an outfield position and serve as a DH, especially if Giancarlo sustains another injury, which we all know injuries and Giancarlo pretty much are an automatic. So I'm reading that maybe the Yankees could be interested in Jorge Soler. And let me tell you, if I'm the Marlins, if I can unload Soler and Avisail Garcia, how fast can I do that? Please, let me do that right now. So the Marlins might get a little bit of a break there and might be able to unload a salary that Kim Ng can use for something else too down the line. So that'll be cool if they can do that. That'll help out. The Jets, they did not do a good job of getting linemen in the draft, and they needed to build up the line for Aaron Rodgers. So they signed Billy Turner. And it's kind of like what I think Miami is going to do now with Fleming, that they didn't get the guy early in the draft that they were probably looking at, obviously, because they drafted Cam Smith. So whatever guys went before Cam Smith, you can look at them. The Dolphins probably wanted one of those guys. They didn't get it. And the Jets, by the way, with Becton always injured and all that, and they've got problems on the O-line, they needed to shore up the line for Aaron Rodgers, and they couldn't do it. So they signed Billy Turner, former Miami Dolphin, to a 1-year contract, $3.1 million per year, or for the year, for the 31-year-old and former Miami Dolphin. How about that? So we'll see. I would imagine that Cameron Fleming is going to be signing with Miami, and we should be seeing that any day now. You should be hearing that the Miami Dolphins and Cameron Fleming have agreed to a contract. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I already told you, because Taylor Lewan is a left tackle and doesn't play right tackle, wants to play left tackle. And Brandon Shell is a right tackle, can't play left tackle, can't excel at left tackle. So neither guy is a swing. Guess what Cameron Fleming does? Swings. So what does Miami need? They need a swing. And that's where Cameron Fleming comes in. So I'm expecting the Dolphins to sign Cameron Fleming any moment now. It's all said and done. The safety valve for the top 5 banks is bail-ins, which is creditors' money, last resort. And oh, by the way, we are the creditors. Yeah, they'll just print like crazy and lower the value of our money, and same old bullshit that they do all the time. It's all crap. Sunday ticket through YouTube is $249 for the season, which is $15 a week. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. And that's before a certain date, right? Because if not after a certain date, isn't it $349? Goes up $100, I think. I agree, Jason. It sucks that both teams are playing at the same time. Big O, when will you go back to walk-ons, Sports Grow or Bird Road? I don't know. I no plans right now at all. So until something is agreed to, I don't know when, my brother. Don't know when. The evaluation is coming. Focus on becoming more fit. Plant fruit trees, buy solar panels, have emergency supplies, and learn to become self-sufficient. Tougher times are coming. Mike Moynihan. You, sir. You get it, bro. You get it. You get it. You completely understand what's coming. And those who are self-sufficient, more self-sufficient than others, are going to be better off with what's coming. You are correct. You have to be subscribed to YouTube to get the $249. Last time I looked, it's $340. Right. That's how it is. That's right. It's not a time. It's if you're a YouTube subscriber, you get $100 off. If you're not, you got to pay $100 more. That's how it is, Dan B. That's how I remember reading the article. That's how it is. It's $349 for non-YouTube subscribers, $249 for YouTube subscribers. I'm a YouTube subscriber, so I can actually get it for $249. So don't become fit. Time to get them fat stores going. You guys are a trip. You guys are a trip. I saw this article, and the gentleman's name is John Feinstein. He's a Washington Post columnist, and he was talking about how the Ravens were never trading Lamar Jackson, which, by the way, I completely, agree. And he says, well-respected sports author and columnist John Feinstein isn't buying any notion that the Ravens even considered parting ways with quarterback Lamar Jackson this offseason. Says, I do not by any stretch consider myself an NFL insider, but I do know the men who run the Ravens organization now and in the past. Bisciotti, the former general manager, and Ozzie Newsome, current general manager Eric DeCosta, and coach John Harbaugh wrote a piece published by the Washington Post on Monday. Here's what they have in common. They're all very smart, football smart, and life smart, which is why I knew they weren't trading Jackson. And it says many of the stories about the new contract portrayed Jackson's offseason as tumultuous. Not really. Most of the tumult was created by people who don't understand how the Ravens work. Jackson was going to play for Baltimore this season. Now he will play there for at least the next 5 seasons. And to me, I agree with him on this. He says, Jackson, by the way, tweeted on March 27th that he requested a trade from the Ravens on March 2nd. And it's entirely possible he feels some resentment towards DeCosta and Bisciotti regarding how contract talks went over the past couple of years, according to Feinstein. But the Ravens accepting 2 first-round picks in return for Jackson was never going to happen because the signal caller was going to be a Raven one way or the other. One wonders if Jackson knew all along and merely used trade requests as a negotiating tactic. And this is why when you guys out there and ladies were sending me those stupid reports from writers and silly YouTubers, they're trading Tua to Baltimore and Baltimore's going to trade Lamar Jackson, it's ridiculous. They were never partying. They're dead set. The one thing that I give, even though I disagree with this offense completely, I don't think you ever win a Super Bowl with this offense. You would have to be so dominant in the running game. It would be the kind of running game that's impossible to stop because I don't think you have a impossible throwing quarterback. Okay. I don't think Lamar will ever be that good as a passer. Maybe I'm wrong. For you Ravens fans out there, I hope I'm wrong. But you think about it, they have sold out to this kid. I give Harbaugh a lot of credit. He has never wavered ever from Lamar. And that's the thing about while this whole thing is going on, I don't know if Lamar realizes it. He probably doesn't, I'm going to say. I don't think Lamar realized it. I don't think a lot of people realize nobody is ever going to support Lamar Jackson the way those people have. They truly believe in this offense, and I think it's an offense that's antiquated. I think it's an offense that cannot win in this league unless your passer is elite, and that is something that Lamar Jackson will never be, I believe, is an elite passer. So we'll find out. We'll find out if I'm wrong. But what I knew I was right about, they weren't ever trading Tua. They weren't ever looking for his replacement. That's bullshit. The only time they were looking for a Tua replacement was last year when you had the 2 idiot owners that want to go after Brady. Okay? And when you had Flo here because he wanted Deshaun Watson. But the front office did not want to part ways with Tua ever. And once you got rid of Flo and the owners were out of the way, Brady was never in the mix again. Okay? And Lamar Jackson was never in the mix. So all those people that wrote any of that, well, you were wrong. And you were wrong, too, to think that Miami was trading Lamar Jackson to Baltimore and Baltimore trading Lamar Jackson to Miami. That would be asinine. They were never parting with Lamar, and Miami was never parting with Tua. That was just not going to happen. Let's see. What else do we have? Big O, trivia question for you. On Top Gun, do you remember what Maverick's first name was? Mitchell? I want to say, I don't know. Let me see. Mitchell Pete Maverick? I want to say. Am I right? Oh, it's Pete Mitchell Maverick? Okay. I remember the Pete, but why did I think it was Mitchell first? All right. That makes sense. Okay. All right. Let me see. I'm gonna look it up here for the top credits. Let me see. Where the hell is it, bro? Here we go. Now I got it. It just says Maverick. It doesn't give me the whole thing. Yeah, it just says Maverick. It doesn't say anything. So is it Mitchell Pete or Pete Mitchell? Pete Maverick Mitchell. Oh, Mitchell's the last name. Aha. Okay. All right, but I remembered. Okay, I remembered. I did not go Omar Kelly on you. Just saying. Big O, I may not agree with everything you say. The show continues to be the most informative all-around sports-focused program on the web. Much respect, sir. Thank you. Very kind of you. That's too kind, but thank you. Pete Mitchell, call sign Maverick. Aha. There we go. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate it. Mitchell's the last name. Pete is the first name. Okay. Check out the piece about the most annoying hockey fan bases. Where's it at? I mean, do I just put most annoying hockey fan bases and then it'll come out? Send me the link at bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. That would help out if you can do that. That would be much appreciated if you can do that. And don't forget, please, to smash the hell out of the like button. Very needed for you all out there to smash the hell out of the like button and get the algorithms going, man. Okay? Really important. Oh, all right. It looks like we're out of here. We thank Cameron Wolf. We thank Manny Navarro, as always. Sean Stanley, the man that masters this entire platform every single day. Even if he's not here at the moment with us, you know he's always with us in spirit. Hopefully we get him out of the hospital today. Maybe we might even see him tomorrow. I don't know yet. We'll see where he's at physically, but hopefully we can get him back in action sometime this week. Thanks to Cameron Wolf. Thanks to Manny Navarro. Thanks to every one of you out there, as always, for keeping it locked here every single day. Please smash the like button. If you're listening to the podcast at any time, day or night, or watching it, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.